Alright, gamers. Let's play more Heart of the Woods. How are your guys' days going, by the way? I've had a pretty good day. Let's, we're already in chapter 4. Oh my. Oof. Sorry, I shouldn't be cracking my neck on stream. Ah, gross. I got to hang out with my GSA today, and we were playing Mario Kart, and that was pretty fun. Good, I guess. That's good. How many chapters? I think there's 6 chapters. For the thumbnails, I have to go through the games folder and try to avoid as many spoilers as I can, so I kind of like take my hand and like try to cover as much as I can. But yeah, that's a secret, a YouTube secret. Don't tell anyone. Okay. Right, we left off on a cliffhanger. Before I forget. I wake up with a headache, and I know something's wrong. And this is Maddie's point of view. I'm alone. Abigail must have disentangled herself from my arms at some point, leaving me on my own. I get up and pace around the church, not seeing her. After a bit, I find her outside its doors. Good morning. Good morning, my love. She's so sweet. What's wrong, though? Her lips smile, but her eyes don't. It's a look I'm pretty familiar with by now. I slip an arm around her as I take a spot by her side. How do I open the present? Here, let me open it for you. It was fucking fire. Finally get my revenge for all the arson. Sleep okay? Well enough. I'm sure all my nights will be better now that they're spent beside you. I can't help it. I kiss her on the cheek and true joy brightens her face. How about you? Pretty good. I woke up with, like, a bad feeling, though. A bad feeling about what? I'm not sure. My head kind of hurts, so maybe that's it. Actually, now that I think about it, this is the first actual pain I've felt since turning. Like a vampire? It's not the worst headache I've ever had, not by far. But it's enough to be annoying. It feels the same as being dehydrated, or having a slight cold. Ah, poor dear. She stands on her tiptoes to kiss my forehead. Oh god, it's spreading. What's going on? I felt the same, actually. I had hoped that stepping outside might help, but it seems not. She rubs her temples, and I notice just how ragged her eyes look. How long have you been out here? A while. Perhaps an hour or so. I was afraid I'd wake you. Nah, I slept right through. It's not just a coincidence that we both feel sick, is it? Abigail purses her lips. Her brief silence is enough confirmation. No, I doubt it is. It must be something to do with the forest. The trees before us sway in the breeze. Have we been back to the sanctuary yet? I mean, it all burned down, right? To me, they look the same as ever. No traces of lingering sickness or pain. You felt bad the other day too, when we first met the fairies. Was it the same thing then? Most likely. Changes in the air, something's happening, and it isn't good. I think of the fairies, fleeing some unseen terror. Sorry about that. Is it Evelyn? I half expect her to shake her head. I want her to say no, but she nods. I think so. I don't know what she's done or why. But this can't all be coincidence. I nod, my thoughts turning to Tara and Morgan. I wish they would just get out of here, leave me to my fate and escape. Let Evelyn do whatever it is she's doing while they're across the ocean, safe. I want to know why Evelyn is doing this. Just for power over one town, or is it... I don't know. She wants to expand? I know that won't happen though. Tara's not the type to back down from a fight. Except this time, I know she's hugely outmatched, even with Morgan's help. What about the Forest Spirit? You said it's a guardian of the woods, right? Why doesn't it stop her? I'm sure it's doing what it can, but it's just as intimately connected to the forest as the fairies are. Far more than you or I. So, as the forest itself weakens, so does it. Worry creases her brow. Is there any way we can help? Not that I know of. I can tell she's not really happy with that answer. Maybe we can think of something together. There has to be something we can do. Yes, perhaps. She looks up at me adoringly. I feel like I can accomplish anything with you by my side. Her loving words are nearly enough to counteract the worry that I feel. We've already beaten death. There's no way Evelyn can stop us. At least not a second time. First, we just have to figure out how. Abigail slips her hand into mine where it fits comfortably. Perhaps you'll make an optimist out of me yet, Madison. Shall we go for our walk? Absolutely. So are they not going back to the sanctuary? Something's obviously wrong. I'm glad that our changing relationship hasn't changed our routine. The walks around the forest keep me grounded. They're enjoyable, but also a solemn reminder of how trapped we are here. My dream of finding a way out hasn't disappeared or diminished at all. It's just evolved to include Abigail too. There's no way I'm leaving these woods without her. I really hope I make the right choices. We chat idly as we stroll, enjoying the newfound comfort and intimacy that comes from being lovers, rather than just friends. Well, you know, I guess that's where the save function comes in. I usually don't change my outcomes, but, you know, I really want a wholesome ending. The pain in my head is still there, and I'm sure Abigail still suffers from hers as well, but it's easy enough to ignore in lieu of the pleasure that simply being together brings. We've reached the edge of the fairy clearing, where we always seem to end up. Abigail's glued to my side. I wouldn't have it any other way. We're probably a little bit early to meet Alma, although they sometimes come by at this time. This grove is one of the easier places for the animals to come drink during winter, so it attracts all kinds of wildlife. Yeah, I've noticed all kinds of tracks in the snow leading around here. She nods, pleased. Uh-oh. But then, we enter the grove itself and my blood runs cold. Just ahead, lying prone on the frozen ground, is a fawn that I just know is Alma. Not the deer! It's clearly dying, if not already dead. With a shriek, Abigail drops my hand. No! I can feel her anguish cut through me like a knife, visceral and burning. Dashing over, hands outstretched, she falls to her knees and presses a tender hand against its snout. A small motion confirms that it's alive, if just barely. It leans into her, either in fear or in recognition, eyes wild. No, what's happening to you? I move closer as well, though not so close as to crowd them, and what I witness makes my stomach churn. Gaping wounds perforate the poor thing's body, staining the ground red with blood. They look like knife wounds or bite marks, but there's no visible damage or puncture. What? It's more like its body simply opened up. Abigail flails her hands, clearly wanting to help, but afraid to touch it and cause more pain. She turns to me, teary-eyed. Madison, what do I do? I don't know what to do. I don't even know where to start. I kneel down beside Abigail. The lacerations covering Alma's body are clean and even, but varying in size. Some are minute, so small as to be nearly invisible. The largest is a gash that runs the length of her torso. How does this even happen? Is it Evelyn? Through choking sobs, Abigail manages to answer. Magic. These are not normal injuries. It's the forest. The forest is sicker than I thought. And all of its children are hurting for it too. But how? How does that happen? So we get headaches, while Alma gets this. I shudder. Is it random? Could it have just as easily been one of us lying here, bleeding out? Maybe our ghostliness is more of a blessing than I thought in this case. Though without it, we wouldn't be affected by the forest's illness at all. Leaning over, I gently stroke the deer's head. Its breathing is restless and agonized, but it seems to register my presence. My thumb brushes against a wound that I didn't notice, and I jerk my hand back while Alma groans in pain. I'm sorry. Sorry. The deer's blood is viscous, unnaturally so, and slick like motor oil. It sticks to my fingers, stretching and webbing. It's neither warm nor cold. It's unnervingly neutral. It's definitely magic, but what did they do to her? I try to rub it off in the snow, but my fingers pass through the ice and dirt, of course. My hand trembles with the disgusting feeling that it'll never be clean again. Abigail is still beside herself, wringing her hands impotently. There's nothing that either of us can do, just sit there and wait as Alma passes away in agony. Jesus. But then, a tremor reverberates through the clearing. The ground shakes and snow is rattled from the branches. Fairy baubles dance up and down. Forest spirit? Kevin? Abigail and I both face the forest in the direction of the sound, already knowing what's coming. The forest spirit strides into view, as tall as the trees but no taller. It brushes past trees with no notice of the branches and snow that it disturbs. As it draws into the clearing, it acknowledges us with a level gaze. It's been a while since Abigail and I have been by to see it. The deer looks up at the forest spirit with pained recognition, its eyes wide and breathing shallow with pathetic relief. Please tell me we can save it. Abigail looks up at it too, tearfully, clearly glad to see it. The spirit looms closer. Its great presence alone seems to revitalize the air around us. My headache vanishes in an instant. The spirit stretches out, one immense finger drawing from head to tail across the deer's mangled body. The two lock eyes, and as the spirit retracts its hand, it curls the finger inwards, calling Alma to it. In one motion, the deer's eyes roll backwards as life exits its body. At the same time, its spectral form, ephemeral and perfect, rises from its corpse. Boundless as in life, it gives us one last glance, and then it springs across the fallen snow before vanishing into thin air, gone to join some spectral herd somewhere. Abby wipes her eyes of tears and stands. She moves to the spirit's side and gently pats it. Thank you. I'm glad you came. The spirit's shoulders sag, its branches hanging low and still, despite the slight breeze. I notice what look like burn marks on its hide, where part of its wooden skin is blackened and dark. Okay, so it's still fine, but it looks like it's badly hurt. Without a doubt, it's Evelyn's doing as well. I'm reminded of an old man putting a child to rest. Sorrow and surely pain as well weigh heavily on it. I wonder how it knew to come. Did it feel Alma's pain, or perhaps Abigail's? Bearing the emotional weight of an entire ecosystem, my heart aches for the spirit as well as Abigail, who seems forever hurt by her powerlessness. The spirit and I meet eyes again, and I bow my head in reverence. I don't know how it well enough to speak. I don't know it well enough to speak to it like Abigail. Ugh. But for Alma's sake, I'm also glad it's here. It stoops down and picks up the deer's corpse. Blood now runs freely from the injuries, somehow not clotting, and I have to look away. Without a second thought for us, the spirit turns and leaves once more, going back the way it came. Abigail and I watch it go. In all, the encounter couldn't have lasted more than a minute or two. Long after the last of its footfalls have faded away, Abigail and I sit in silence. I hold her close until finally we return to the church. The rest of the day passes quietly, the earlier euphoria of our relationship being overshadowed by fear of the shifting forest, though Abigail is never more than an arm's reach away from me, and usually closer. She's nearly silent. Our headaches returned not longer after leaving the fairy clearing, stronger than before. Now some combination of pain and sorrow keeps us both quiet. At some point, I reach her hand out of habit. And that's when it happens. My hand passes right through hers, as if she isn't even there. What? Abigail! I say the first thing that comes to mind. What is happening? With a fright, she leaps up, searching around for the source of my panic. It seems she didn't even feel it. Look. I reach for her hand, and once again, it passes right through, just like when we first met, before we could even speak with each other. She understands instantly. What? Oh no. Oh no. No. What's happening? Are you okay? Do you feel any different? I don't know enough about magic to even start to guess why this might be happening to her. Should we take you to the forest spirit, or get you some rest, or is it happening to Abigail, or Maddie? Madison, it's not me. What? It's you. I look down at myself. Sure enough, my whole body is slightly transparent. I can see the floor of the church through myself. Vertigo hits me and I stumble. Abigail lurches forward to catch me, but of course she isn't able to. Dread fills my heart. Please, no, not again. What do I do? I slap my hand, a pathetically ridiculous action. I can't even feel it. My own hand goes right through me. Shaky, Abigail stands up, holding her head. Something's happening to the forest. This must all be connected somehow. It's simply impossible otherwise. What could Evelyn be doing? She's fading. Just got home, what I lose? Oh, this is a very tense moment. Yeah. Maddie's losing form, and our dear friend Alma died. Literally our dear friend. I know that she has to be involved. I don't even have to ask. I have no idea, nor do I know why she's choosing now of all times to do it. Do you think the forest spirit can help us? The forest spirit is all I can think of, the only ally that we have, at least if it's a powerful one. Abigail looks away. I'm sure the spirit was her first thought, too. Perhaps. We can try. Wordlessly, she heads out of the church and I follow behind her. The happiness and joy that we shared so recently has evaporated entirely. I wish that life, whatever form it takes for us, could just slow down, that we could have more than a moment to rest. But I know that's impossible while Evelyn is still out there, and I know that one way or another, we're going to have to be the ones to deal with her. But what I don't know is if we even have a chance. Fuck. I'm stressed already. What the fuck? Yeah, so I guess the bond to the forest that I kept Maddie from death is breaking apart? Oh man. My first thought was like she was coming back to life, but I don't think that's what is happening here. Do you know what's going on? Has something like this happened to you before? It hasn't. This is the first I've seen of it, but I think I know. I think that the forest is having trouble keeping you here. The magic is getting weaker too. So, does that mean that... Oh, you could die. Maddie could actually die now. Fuck. I leave the implication unspoken. Abigail halts in her tracks, facing me with a fiery determination. No, I won't let anything bad happen to you. Not again. I promise, Madison. I don't know if she has the power to keep that promise, but I can only hope so. Okay, I trust you. I really do. Believing in Abigail is my only option, but even if it weren't, it's like she said. Together, we can get through anything. I try not to think of what it would mean if I'm wrong. I'm not even totally sure myself. Would I just cease to exist? Go on to an afterlife? Something else? None of the options are especially appealing, and I know that dwelling on them will only make me feel worse, so I just focus on the here and now, and on sticking close to Abigail. Even I could tell she's right when she says the whole force is affected. Aside from the harsh winds, everything else feels subdued somehow. The trees don't seem to stand as tall, and the leaves and needles look dull, even by wintry standards. What little sunlight there is feels dreary, rather than bright. A light snow falls from the sky, but the heavy clouds overhead promise more, and soon. It occurs to me that we've been walking longer than we normally have to. Instead of changing the forest path to get us there quickly, we're following the regular routes through the trees. Hey, why aren't we taking the shortcut through the forest? Is it too sick to let us do that? Wringing her hands, Abigail looks away. It's more that I'm afraid to try. If I push myself too hard, then... She leaves the consequences unspoken. I can imagine what they might be, the same as what's happening to me, or worse. Whatever exactly that is. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. It's okay. Take as much time as you need. It's been so long since I visited the spirit. Our brief moment in the grove with Alma was the first time in days. I wonder if it's missed me. Of course it has. Who wouldn't? You're far too sweet, Madison. She nuzzles her head against me. The angle's a little awkward since we're walking, but it's still nice. But then she jerks away like she was stung. Oh, you're back. Back? Yeah. She's not transparent anymore. Her hand envelops mine, smooth and soft like always, rather than passing through me. Oh. Just because she can, she leans forward and gives me a quick peck on the lips. I was so worried. Me too. I rub my arms and sides, making sure that I'm all there. Everything seems to be in order. Hopefully it's permanent. Indeed, it's not too much farther to the spirit either. We should hurry. Sweat makes her brow glisten a little. She's definitely still feeling strained, even though I can tell she's trying to hide it. Don't push yourself too hard, sweetie. I won't. Still, despite her words, the longer we walk, the more visible a toll it seems to take on her. Her steps slow down, even though she wanted to hurry, and her breathing sounds labored. Are you sure you're alright? I'm fine. It's just... Rubbing her eyes, she shakes her head. Right then, a pile of snow hits the ground a few feet away from us. Looking up, I spot a tree drooping, its boughs angled down as if bent. It's the forest again, not me alone. She voices what I already knew. Something terrible must have happened for it to be this way. Since I'm unable to feel the force like she can, all I can do is watch and worry. Just now, or at least today? Maybe, or we may only now be feeling the effects. I'm not sure. I can tell by the frustration in her voice that she's nearly as in the dark about this as I am. I have to remind myself that what she knows, she only picked up by intuition and years of observation. I'm fortunate enough to have a guide as knowledgeable as she is about her situation, even though she doesn't know everything. I know when we're getting close to the grove of ancestral trees, from the change in the air and the way that the trees are longer than before. That profound sense of being watched and a primal energy is still present, but even that feels mellower. Or maybe strained. Okay, I'm gonna take a real quick break. I'll be right back. Okay. I do want Abby to be in danger? What? Why? Through everything, there's also the acrid smell of smoke. Suddenly, Abigail lets out a yelp of horror and dashes forward. Abigail! I follow right on her heels. Oh no. It doesn't take long to discover what she found. Yep. Where once there was a mighty tree, all that remains is a blistered and charred husk, blackened by flames. A painful buzzing penetrates my head, nearly unbearable. And all I can do is watch in horror as a foreign sorrow emanates. Even I can tell that this is the force crying out. Here at the locus of its pain, even I'm affected. I can't imagine how Abigail must feel. Her fingers run across the damaged wood, as if searching for a sign of life. I have to remember that this isn't just another part of the forest. This is its heart, its very soul. And for so long, it was also her home. How? How did I not know? I've been so happy these few days that I must have blinded myself to the pain of the forest. From behind, I wrap my arms around her, pressing my face against her shoulder. I'm sorry. It's not your fault, though. Even if you knew, you couldn't have changed it. If anything, we were lucky to have those few days. She clings to me, pinioning my arms into an even tighter embrace. Yeah, it was Evelyn. As I feel her cry against me, against me, my own uselessness feels like more of a curse than death ever was. I wish there was some magic word or spell that I could use to make things better. But all I can do is hug her tightly and warmly, and hope that I'm as much of a reassurance for her as she is for me. Then, without warning, I once again see my arms go transparent, and the feeling of Abigail against me disappears. Although this time it's not as big of a shock, it's still a reminder that we don't have long to wait. Abigail notices and steadies herself alone. Let's keep going. The spirit must be around here too. Why doesn't it stop Evelyn? Isn't that its job as guardian? It probably can't. I'm sure it wants to, but it relies on the force for strength. So if the force is weak, then it will be too. In fact, that may be Evelyn's intention. Yeah, she forced Morgan to do it. I don't know how, it was some fucked up shit though. The sinking feeling in my stomach intensifies. If she's even stronger than the forest spirits, then what hope do we have? Ugh. I don't voice that fear though. I'm sure Abigail's already worried about the same thing. It isn't much longer before we encounter the spirit. At first, we almost miss it. The forest spirit stands idle in a clearing, as if lost in thought. It barely seems to notice us when we approach. A slight tilt of its head is the only acknowledgement we get. It's small. Smaller than I've ever seen it before. It's barely as tall as I am. The lights in its eyes, usually bright and terrifying, have gone dim. It looks more like the wounded deer from the clearing the other day than the being who helped it pass on. Just like the trees it protects, its branches sag and are bare. A few have jagged ends, as if something snapped them off. None of the wildlife that usually accompany it is around. Instead, it seems alone and abandoned. Though it hasn't been long since we saw it last, it looks significantly pained. I wonder if its salvation of Alma was taxing on it. Abigail cries out again, just like when we came across the burned tree. As anguished as she sounded then, this time it's even worse. I hang back as she runs to its side, not wanting to intrude on a private moment. She places a hand on its leg, crooning something that I can't make out. Though the spirit tilts its head a little bit more to face her, the motion is still stilted and janky. As exhausted and sick as Abigail seems, the forest spirit seems to have it 10 times worse. Oh shit, it's like blue fire now. It makes a mournful sound, a deep and sonorous hum. It seems to echo and reverberate off the trees around us. Though I can't understand it like Abigail can, the pain and suffering in its tone is obvious. Abigail presses a cheek against it, patting the creature gently, the same way she sometimes comforts me. I look down at myself, shimmery and transparent. And I'm pretty sure we won't be getting any assistance from the spirit. It's already too weak. A wave of nausea hits me as I ponder just what that means. I don't have any backup plans. If Abigail does, she didn't mention them. Is my only choice to just stay like this and hope my condition doesn't get any worse? Ever since I came to here through the forest, it's felt like I haven't had any control over my own fate, and I can't help but worry this will be the final nail in the coffin, perhaps literally. I fidget, adjusting my scarf and hood and glasses countless times. Abigail remains close to the spirit, pacing slow circles around it as she talks to it softly. I wonder what she's saying. Sometimes the spirit will hum, or make a gesture that could be a nod. All the while, I keep my respectful distance. At some point, I realize that it's snowing. I don't know how long it's been going on. As some of the snow settles on the spirit's broad shoulders, it doesn't look festive or pretty. It just looks pitiful. The spirit sags, bearing the weight of the world. I'm not sure how long I wait, but I don't rush Abigail at all. This could be the last opportunity she has to speak with the forest spirit. Judging by its condition, I'm sure she's thinking the same thing. I flit between solid and intangible so many times that I stopped keeping track. I just watched the two of them. Finally, Abigail pushes herself away from the spirit. She approaches me, looking like she wants to say something, but doesn't. Her eyes say it all, though. Oh, it's gonna die. I tried to hug her, but she softly shakes her head, and instead escorts me away, back into the woods. Though she never looks back, I do, but just once. The spirit's lonely eyes watch us go. Damn. I'm so sad. God. This has been so depressing. Heavy snow batters us while we walk. Though of course it still doesn't reach us, our visibility is effectively zero. Too weak to even alter the path of the forest, Abigail clings to my side, trusting me to lead us back to the church. Although I maintain a brave face, I'm not fully confident in my ability to get us there. What? What was that? The blizzard calls to mind memories of the day I died, although I don't let myself dwell on them. I'm not alone this time, and I have someone more to live for. Our journey is strenuous. We move at glacial pace, but it's the fastest that Abigail can manage. Maddie is still flickering. Her steps are heavy and slow, and as much as I want to urge her along, I know that I can't. I'm glad that she's watching the ground and her feet rather than me, so that she doesn't have to see the worry on my face. Every time I start to think that I've got this whole ghost thing figured out, something new arises to complicate it all over again. And this time, I don't even have Abigail's experience to guide me. What happens if she loses the ability to walk altogether, or to speak? What happens if the magic that keeps me here runs out? The occasional flickering of my body makes that a very real concern right now. I hold tightly to her hand, the only anchor of comfort and security right now. But even that has grown clammy and cold. What's wrong with my voice today? Swallowing a lump in my throat, we march on. Trees bow in the wind, trying to turn their backs against it. For the first time that I can remember. There aren't any woodland creatures out and about. I wouldn't be out and about if I were a woodland creature right now. No mice or rabbits or chirping birds, not even a panicked deer, phasing in and out of existence like me. I have to exit now, I'll come back later. Alright, see you, Max. Glad you could stop by. It may as well just be me and her, and no one else in the universe. Come on, I'm sure we're almost there. It can't be much further. I say the words for my own sake, as much as for hers. Though in truth, I have no idea if I'm right or not. For all I know, we could be heading in the totally opposite direction of the church. Even then, once we arrive at the church, I'm not sure what to do. Will she get better with time to rest? Will I? Right now, the church is just a goal. It gives us something tangible to work towards. Something to keep our feet moving, slowly or not. I'm sure you're right. Her voice is merely a murmur. I can only hope that she's saving her energy on purpose. I'm afraid to ask. I wonder how much of what's happening is by the mayor's design. While everything stems from her, it's impossible to know how much was deliberate and how much was simply a ripple effect from what she's done. I wonder if she even considers us a threat, or gives us any thought at all. If she doesn't, then maybe we can use that against her. Of course, first we have to reach a point where we can do that. During a momentary lapse in the blizzard, I'm able to make out a welcome sight in the haze. A warped and curled tree that I distinctly remember from an earlier trip. I'm thinking maybe Evelyn was so scared that she went ahead with destroying the forest so that, you know, Abigail couldn't do anything. I mean, she looked pretty shocked. I'm sure she would make a move after that. Does Evelyn know about the spirits? I say probably, because she's always warning people, or she's controlling people, not to go to the forest. Look, you recognize that tree too, right? I'm pretty sure you were the one who showed it to me the first time. We're almost home. You're already back? Welcome back. You did not miss much. We're still in the blizzard. Abigail nods weakly, though she doesn't say anything. I squeeze her hand, trying to impart some strength into her. It kills me to see her like this, and I'd give anything to be able to help her. Almost there. You've got this. She nods again, unable to do or say more. Except she doesn't stop nodding. Like a bobblehead. I tug her along, trying to lead her to the rest of the short way, but she's rooted to the spot. What is happening? Descend. And then she collapses. What? I jolt and choke on nothing as I gasp for breath that I don't actually need. Abigail has fallen to her knees. I didn't even feel her hand slip out of mine. I tried to take the half step, cross the... Huh? What? What is going on? What? It takes me a moment to understand. I immediately wish that I hadn't. Why is it phasing in and out like that? Oh my god. I just stopped existing for a second. Jesus Christ, that scared me. Profound dread grips my heart. Looking down at myself once again, I can see right through my hand and arm to the snow accumulating beneath us. Not good. This is extremely not good. I collapse to the ground beside Abigail, but at least of my own accord. I try to shake her by the shoulder, but it takes several tries before I can maintain a form long enough to even touch her. I'm sorry, Madison. I just needed a little break. With visible effort, she turns to look at me. I don't even think she realizes what's happening. Fuck. But then I phase into a non-existence for another moment, and when I come back, horror is clearly etched onto her face. Finding some hidden reserve of strength, she lunges towards me and grabs my hand. Immediately, everything goes back to normal. Madison, are you okay? Can you hear me? I'm fine now. I hold her hands a bit tighter to reaffirm it. Are you okay though? I'm just a little tired is all. She forces herself up again, looking more than a little tired. Immediately, she sways and nearly falls, but I catch and steady her. She leans into me, and I pull her into a hug. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Shh, it's okay. Gently, I stroke her hair. In truth, I'm terrified, but I don't want her to see that. It'd only make things worse. I guide Abigail over to a fallen tree where we can sit down, indifferent to the blizzard. Even though the church is much farther, I don't want to push her too much right now. I wrap one hand around her as we sit, and I hold her close. Where can we go for help? Maybe if the Force Spirit sees how rough it is for us. But she shakes her head. Believe me, it would if it could, but I fear that it's even weaker than I am right now. It's much more in tune with the Force than me, so it's suffering the effects even more strongly. All of this because Evelyn killed one tree? It wasn't just any tree. It was one of the ancestral trees, the oldest one. They're the heart of the forest. All of its strength comes from them. I can't pretend to understand their importance, but I know that Abigail isn't exaggerating, not at a time like this. So what do we do? There has to be some sort of solution, right? Can we plant another tree or something? I don't think it's gonna work like that. Even as I say it, I know the idea is ridiculous. We don't exactly have the centuries it would take for a new tree to grow up as big and strong as the one that was killed. The Forest Spirit is supposed to become the next one. All of the ancestral trees were once spirits like the one you've met. What's stopping it? The mayor? Her hand clenches around my shoulder, where she was holding on tightly. That's right. I hadn't even realized. Realized what? Groaning, Abigail sits up straight. So long as we're close like this, it seems like I'm able to maintain my physical form. The spirit can't pass on its own. It needs the help of a fairy queen. That's one of her duties to the forest. But there's no fairy queen right now. What? That would have been useful information, a little while ago. Oh god. Yes, which means that there's no one to complete the ritual. The rest goes unspoken as we both come to the same realization. An awful one. Madison. I know. There aren't any other options, is there? None that I know of. I close my eyes and take a deep breath, heading off the wave of fear that I know is coming. I'm sorry. Again, It's okay. You don't need to apologize, really. But... Taking both her hands in my own, I turn to face her. Understanding, her eyes close halfway as her lips part to meet mine. Part of me wishes I could spend an eternity like this, together, warm, with the woman I love. But even that isn't an option anymore. Our kiss ends far too quickly, although I'm not sure it could ever have been enough. When we part, there are tears on Abigail's face. I'm not sure if they're mine or hers. It'll be okay. Somehow. I know it. I'll be with you, no matter what. I know. Thank you. Seriously, I couldn't do this without you. I love you. I love you too. As one, we turn and face the forest again, putting the church behind us. Madison's gonna be an actual queen. And yeah, the thumbnail's a bit of a spoiler. I was thinking, what if the theory that Evelyn is a fairy queen ended up being true? My theory is that, Geodorus, the cat, is the fairy queen. And Evelyn turned her into a cat, maybe? Because, as you remember, Geodora is a fairy. Resigning myself to what comes next, I pointed the direction we need to go. Let's go visit the fairies. I'm sure they're still looking for a new queen. Once again, we reach the grove where the fairies nest. It occurs to me that this is only the part that seems unaffected by the forest sickness. The trees are just as vibrant as ever, and the pond is just as crystal clear. We stumble into the middle near the shore of the pond. Abigail takes several woozy steps, and I hold her shoulder to keep her steady. Then I flick her and she starts to fall, barely managing to keep her balance. Forget days, or even hours to find another solution. We might not even have minutes. Hello? I call out, a bit surprised that none of the fairies have come to greet us. I watch the trees and listen for the buzz and flutter of wings. But it remains silent and still. Hello, fairies? It feels a little absurd and on the nose, but I don't know what else to say. There's no response. Please, we need your help. I might as well be shouting into the void. There's not a single rustle. I notice that the birds who used to nest in these bushes seem to have abandoned this place. Tendrils of fear creep through me. What if the fairies are gone too? Madison. I turn towards Abigail, but she's not even looking at me. Madison. She just murmurs my name over and over. I steel myself and face forward, for her. If you can help us, I'll find you a queen, even if it has to be me. My voice sounds stronger than I feel. There's no reaction. My heart pounds, feeling like it's going to burst out of my chest. Seconds pass, nothing. Beside me, Abigail's fallen silent, swaying on her feet, but looking as if she might collapse. All of her trust and hope has been placed in me. I can't let her down. I won't let her down. Just as I gather breath to yell out again, I start to hear a faint buzzing sound deep in the trees. Something flickers far away, but getting closer. I realize it's many somethings. Tiny lights spark to life, woven throughout and across the trees like Christmas lights. Those, and the growing buzzing, herald the arrival of the fairies. They burst from the trees as a swarm, nearly enough to darken the sky overhead. Like before, 3 break apart from the rest and swoop towards us. Okay, we got a chance. I recognize them as the 3 I spoke to before, the ones I named Hay, Annan, and Frio. You're back! To be queen? We've been waiting. They watch inquisitively while the rest of the swarm hover overhead. It isn't what I want. I still barely know what being a queen would entail, much less a fairy queen. All I have is one short vision. Well, I think that establishes that you're gonna join the hive mind. and kind of lose individuality? I don't know. That doesn't seem... I don't know. If it's to save everyone else, we might not have a choice. But it's not like I have time to research or to learn. There's not time for anything else. It's this or disappear forever and leave Abigail to whatever fate she's suffering. Of course, that's not an option I'm even willing to consider. I put on the sternest face I can and lock eyes with the fairy in the middle. Only if you can help us. Wordlessly, the three fairies dart forward, inspecting Abigail and me. They communicate silently with each other, leaving me to wonder what they're saying and thinking. I'm a little burpy today. Sorry. A minute later, they return to their position in front of my face. Name your terms. But are you sure? We think we know. If you make us human again, and stop whatever it is that's happening to us, then I'll make sure you have a queen, whether it's me or someone else. A queen? Who else could it be? We spent so long looking. There's not much time left. For you, or for us. Wait, what do you mean? What are you running out of time for? She'll make her move. Haven't you seen? The moonsick one. The moonsick one. There's that word again. Moonsick one. You mean Evelyn? Evelyn? A human name? It must be her. Moonsick. Who is that again? Was that the fairy who got lost? Or the fairy queen herself? I think the fairy that got lost, right? Moonsick, a werewolf thing? I didn't even consider that. Maybe. They did mention it in the fairy vision. I don't fully follow, but there's no one else that they could be referring to. Is that a fancy way to say period? Ember. Oh my god. There's so much that I want to ask, but can't right now. How long do we have? Until the moon's at its brightest. That's when she's the strongest. Will you be ready then? I'll have to be. I haven't been paying much attention to the moon, but I know that it can't be more than a week until it's full. Probably less. I really wish I had Tara's stupid shirts to use as reference right now. Tara. In all of this, I haven't even really been considering that. By becoming human again, not just a ghost, I'll be able to see her. That's at least one big upside, although I don't know where we'll even begin catching up. Still, that's something else to be figured out later. Facing the fairies, I nod. Okay. We can start preparing. Are you ready? It won't take long. Yeah, I just needed a moment to get ready too. I need to get ready. Oh fuck. If we base our knowledge, fairy knowledge on Shakespeare, should we at least be horny? Or Zelda. All fairies are horny. So I'm thinking Evelyn was, or is, a fairy too, but for whatever reason needs to consume, needs to live in a host. I don't know why. Cause the body gets old. That makes sense. No, this is making sense. Okay. The fairies flit off and rejoined the rest of their kind, not bothering to respond. That's fine by me. I turned back to Abigail, who's been silent throughout the whole entire thing. At first I thought maybe she'd passed out, but instead she's watching me with anxious eyes. Madison, are you sure? Softly, she leans against me. Well, she kind of falls. Yes, I'm sure. The fairies have all gathered nearer to the pond, close to one of the trees. They watch us intently, ruining the chance of any private moments. I kiss Abigail's cheek and feel her nuzzle against me for just a moment. I love you, Madison. She says it with more strength than she's been able to muster so far. I love you too. We look into each other's eyes for one last moment. Then, I turn and stride towards the fairies. I don't let myself look down. I don't let my hands shake. I keep my steps measured and even. I only glance back once to where Abigail's watching me. Then Hay, Frio and Annan descend once more. Frio loosely grips a crown of woven flowers and leaves, as out of season as the rest of this grove. I would say that it doesn't feel real, but to tell the truth, it's been a long time since anything has. Is it time? We hope it is. Just put this on. That's it? All I have to do is put on the crown? That's all for you. Is that too much? We'll do the rest. Okay. Frio hands me the crown. I let it rest on my palms. It's light, barely noticeable. The flowers are all woven together so deftly that I have to wonder if it was made by magic. Oh Lord. Yeah, we better come back powerful as fuck. Otherwise we're screwed. Unless the fairies have, like, some other way to defeat Evelyn with the queen. And yes, this is very much Fairy Ex Machina. It's also slightly warm, like it had just been sitting in the sun for a while. I swallow the lump in my throat. This is what's best for everyone. Not just for me, or for Abigail, but for the whole forest. With one swift motion, I reach up and place the crown on my head. It fits perfectly, as if it was made for me. I wonder if it was. The moment it touches my hair, the fairies start to move. They chatter out loud, but there are so many of them speaking that it's impossible to hear what they're saying. I don't even know if they're human words. Altogether, they sound like a forest of rustling leaves. I shut my eyes, as I feel a tingling sensation. It starts at the top of my head, and slowly works its way through me. It's not uncomfortable at all, but it also isn't anything ignorable. Something soft brushes against my face and hands. It feels like snow, but it isn't cold. And when it melts away, there's no trace of wetness left behind. An invisible force feels like it's tugging me in every direction at once, but I stay rooted to the spot. A light scent of pine fills my nose. Somehow, it's nostalgic. I open my eyes, still in the middle of my metamorphosis. Warmth spreads through my body like a hot cup of coffee, and with it comes understanding of the forest and how I'm a part of it. I'm acutely aware of its existence, tuned to precise frequency. She's beautiful. Wow. I imagine this must be what Abigail meant by being connected. Memories that aren't mine start to run through my head, a movie that I can't shut off. Visions of trees sprouting from the earth and growing skyward, and of clouds forming and then falling apart. Each denizen of the forest, every tree, every deer, even the forest spirit itself comes to mind at once, feeling like old friends I haven't seen in a while. None of it feels new. It's not intrusive or foreign. Rather, this knowledge feels like something that's always been there, but without my awareness, or maybe something I'd forgotten. It's comfortable. And still the fairies dance overhead, their wrestling chants even louder as they perform their ritual. I wonder if all fairy queens are inaugurated this way. And at the same moment, I wonder, I know instinctively that they aren't. Visions of a beautiful woman, whom I immediately recognize as the missing fairy queen, come to mind, and with her comes a longing, a feeling of something missing. Then, as my thoughts turn, the vision and the longing are gone too. Wow. Jesus, look at that dress. Oh, that's gorgeous. I can feel the wrestle of cloth against my skin, as even my clothes acknowledge the changes, taking on a life and form of their own. They lengthen and stretch and puff out, becoming a dress more elaborate and beautiful than anything I've ever worn before. Living, breathing flowers bloom from its hem right before my eyes, matching the crown on my head. I feel the magic work its way through, over and around me, enveloping tightly. And then, as the ceremony comes close to an end, I start to feel it drain out of me. It seeps down and out and back into the earth and air, returning to the force that lent me its strength and trust to take on this role. As I heave a deep breath, the enormity of the responsibility that's been placed on me feels heavy, but not unbearably so. If anything, I'm reassured by the competence and power that I can simply feel that I have. I'm not invincible, I know that much. But for the first time in ages, I feel like I'm in control. I stumble, just a little bit, as my feet touch the ground that I never knew I'd left. The instant that I do, the last of the shifting magic leaves me, although I can feel it as part of the forest. Without anyone saying anything, without any confirmation, I simply know it's done. I've become the fairy queen. So shocked. Heck. Chapter 5. We're so close to the ending. Oh, that was beautiful. Okay. Let me take another break. I'll be back. Alright. Maybe they could burn her alive? Jesus. I mean, I'm sure she deserves it. What if Maddie ends up not being powerful enough? Oh, you still got Morgan. And Tara. Yes, the power of gal pals. My first steps as Fairy Queen are shaky. At any moment, it feels like my legs might give out from under me. Yeah, at the same time, I feel a strange sort of confidence and inner strength. I don't know if magic literally courses through my veins or not, but it feels that way. My next few steps as Fairy Queen are easier. I keep my gaze fixed on Abigail as I make my way towards her. She waits impatiently, concern clearly etched on her face. The fairies buzz agitatedly over my head, darting and dashing in pointless patterns. Though they don't vocalize anything, I can hear their voices clearly in my head. Our queen. Welcome home. How does it feel? I acknowledge their words, and at the same time, I can feel myself be acknowledged. It comes as naturally as breathing. I promise that I'll get to them in a moment. Madison, are you alright? She clings to my side, her slender arms tight around me. Ow! Addie's looking snatched. Though I'm not shaking anymore, her presence is still infinitely reassuring. And she feels it too, look at that pose. I press my lips to her head, and we sway gently back and forth. I can feel her too, as part of the forest. Her presence is as warm and comforting in my head as in my arms. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. She makes a sound that I think is a gasp, but that I soon realize is a sob. Abigail cries against my shoulder, her arms tightening like a vice. I don't ever want to let her go. I hold her tightly as I can while her body is racked with sobs. Oh no. Her breath and tears are warm, almost painfully hot. The thin lace of my new outfit does little to inhibit them. I'm so sorry. That all of this is happening, I'm sorry. You would think that being a queen would give her not glasses, I don't know, magical contacts. This ain't the Princess Diaries. Gently, I find her hands and take them in mine. I squeeze them, trying to impart the same kind of solace that she gives me. It's okay, really. I'm happy things turned out this way. I'm glad that I met you, no matter the circumstances. Her cries get stronger, and I drop one of her hands in order to brush her hair back from her tear-stained face. We hold each other tightly until she's able to calm down. Meanwhile, the fairies still continue to circle overhead, although they remain respectfully silent. Finally, Abigail heaves a steady breath and steps back just a little bit. I'm sorry. Again, it was just that seeing you there with the fairy light. I mean, you looked beautiful. You still do. More than beautiful. But it made me again realize everything that you've gone through. Everything I put you through. I press a finger to her lips. She looks up at me, surprise replacing the sadness. It's okay. I'd go through all of it again to end up here with you. I mean it smooth. Abigail sniffles heavily, and I can tell that she's trying not to cry again. You can make it up to me by getting out all of this with me. She nods. That sounds like more like a gift to me than the other way around, but I'll keep being selfish and take it. Good. I want you to be selfish. We kiss quickly and briefly, then separate. I look up at the fairies above me, who are glad to be noticed again. Thank you for saving me like this. I owe you my life. Somehow, I've ended up owing my life to way more people than I ever expected to. You have 3 days to keep it. What? That's right, you're running out of time. We can't wait much longer. I know. I'll find a queen for you. 3 days until what? Until the power runs out, or until she's a queen forever? I know that it won't be easy as I make it sound. After meeting some of the Eysenfield locals, I don't get the impression that any of them would be interested in the offer. Still, I have 3 days to figure it out. We'll be waiting. We know we'll see you again. With the new queen or not. The ritual finished, the fairies quickly... What is this arbitrary time limit? 3 days. And then some Japanese girl comes out the well. The fairies quickly disperse back into the trees. I'm glad there's no more ceremony or ritual to go along with my transformation. Alone with Abigail once more, I head to the shore of the pond so I can finally get a full glimpse of myself. I can barely recognize my own reflection. The girl staring back at me from beneath the water looks much more suited to the position of the queen than I expected. She looks calm and confident, like she's unafraid of whatever happens next. I just hope I'm not fooling myself. I turn this way and that, admiring my new outfit. Gotta be fashionable with it if you're saving the whole town. Atop my head, the flower crown that the fairies gave me fits comfortably. I wonder if it's meant to tempt me into staying. Abigail moves closer, peering into the water with me. Our reflections next to each other serve as a visible reminder of why I can't stay. As comfortable and satisfying as the newfound gift is, I have no desire to keep it at the cost of our freedom. I'll get us out of this. Are you ready to go? I am. Is Abigail human now? I think she's still a ghost, right? She should totally fly. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's fairy queen and everything. Why doesn't she have wings though? Maybe the real fairy queen would have wings. I mean, Maddie is a human. Okay, first things first. We need to get in touch with Morgan and Tara. They probably know about more about the mayor than we do. It'll also set my mind at ease a lot. There's so much that I need to say to Tara. Even if I spent all 3 of our days just talking with her, that still wouldn't be enough time. What is Tara gonna say? I wonder how she's gonna react. How will we do that? Going to the village would be far too dangerous. We don't have to. We just have to get to the cabin. I flex my fingers, still acutely aware of the magical tingling. And that's easy like this. Abigail runs her fingers over mine, her skin angelically soft like always. Alright, I trust you. I curl my fingers, squeezing her hand again. Thank you. Speaking of which, there's something I think we should do. I pause a moment while she waits expectantly. Much like the way my coronation just ended, what I'm about to say seems unceremonious and unceremonious. I think I can return us to the physical plane too. Both of us. I want to be a temporary fairy? I'm sure middle school me would say the same thing. It takes a second for the implication to sink in, before Abigail's eyes grow wide as saucers. Addison! Are you sure? Her hand clutches her heart. Yeah, I can't explain how I know, but I just do. There's a lot of stuff that I can do now. You got powers. Nice. But that way, you'd be able to talk with Tara and Morgan too. And I know that we'll need all the help we can get at the end. I keep banishing thoughts of what the end will be. Because there's only one way that this can end. Putting a stop to Evelyn once and for all. I don't need that weighing on my mind along with everything else right now. I understand. You know that I wouldn't just abandon you, Madison. I know. Abigail takes a deep breath, steadying herself. Okay, I'm ready. Silently, I step forward, taking her other hand in mine as well. I close my eyes and bow my head, and I feel her do the same. I can feel the magic course through me and out of me, spreading like vines from my fingers. It affects both me and her, taking our very forms and rebinding them to the mortal world where they belong. I can feel Abigail tense up and hear her breathing getting shallow. Still, I keep my eyes closed, willing the magic to continue working. It obeys my whims effortlessly. And then, after a minute that feels like an hour, the flow of magic slows and then stops. I open my eyes. Abigail is still there, her hands warm in mine. Her eyes slowly open as well, meeting mine. So she's human now? This close together, I can feel her breath warm against my face. She's breathing. Well, that's a good sign. How do you feel? A light breeze blows through. For the first time in 200 years, Abigail's gown sways in the wind. It's cold. What if Evelyn ends up controlling Madison now? I don't know. Madison's pretty powerful at the moment. I'm sure it takes some real effort from Evelyn to get through to her. She says and laughs, pressing herself even more tightly against me. Abigail shivers. Her teeth begin chattering within seconds of her transformation. Despite how poofy it is, her gown really isn't very warm at all. Fortunately, the chill doesn't bother me. It wouldn't make sense for a fairy queen to be susceptible to the cold. But taking care of Abigail is a pressing matter. Right, what if she takes control of Abigail? Well, we're gonna have to be real sneaky. Let's go to the cabin. I can get us there quickly. She just nods, wrapping her arms tightly around herself. I hug her tightly as well and access the magic once again. This time, I'll use it to transport us across the forest, to its very boundary where the cabin is, and where my powers stop being useful. Since the cabin and the village are technically outside the bounds of the forest, once I step past the trees, I'll just be a regular ghost again. At least until I go back to the forest. So I can't get too far away. If Evelyn were to find out where we are, or make some move against us, I'd be powerless to stop her. Better to not even give her that opportunity. Still, the transportation is smooth. It doesn't even feel like we move. Instead, we close our eyes in the fairy clearing, and when we open them again, the cabin is just in front of us. Seeing it again strikes a pang in my heart. It feels like forever ago. I guess technically it was a lifetime ago. There's no time to get sentimental though. Not when Abigail's like this. Instead, we hurry to the front door. Miraculously, the door's unlocked. I guess Morgan and Tara had more important things to worry about than locking up the last time they were here. So what are we gonna do? Just call them? We rush inside, and I turn on both the lights and the heater. As warm air cranks out, Abigail's relief is palpable and immediate. She settles down onto one of the chairs, comfiness outweighing even her curiosity for just a moment. Better? Much. She luxuriates in the feeling, eyes closed in bliss. Her fingers absentmindedly scrape the soft cushion of the couch, which she presses her back into. She hasn't sat in a chair in 200 years. It's so soft. Then she leaps to her feet, zooming towards the kitchen. She drags her fingers along every different surface as she goes, stopping to examine most of them. She rubs the edge of the counter. Madison, it's so smooth and cold. At the sink, she examines the faucet intently before spinning one of them. Cold water pours out over her hands, and she yelps in shock, but quickly grins. Madison, it's like a river. Then she reaches the heater, which is pretty much keeping her alive right now. Like a cat, she basks in front of it, relishing the warmth. She is so cute. Each sensation seems to bring her immeasurable joy. For me, it had been a couple weeks. For Abigail, it had been 200 years without feeling warmth, or cold, or textures. I watch fondly. I wish we had more time to enjoy ourselves, more time to show her modern things like films. I remind myself that I can't think like that. We just don't have the time yet. We just have to get through this, then we'll have all the time in the world. I'm gonna get you some warmer clothes. I'll be right back. Alright. She still plopped in front of the heater, closer than I would have thought is comfortable. Smiling, I headed into what had once been my bedroom. It's been rearranged a bit. My suitcase has been shoved into one corner, forgotten. My laptop sits atop my bed, although most of the video gear is missing. Tara and Morgan must have taken it with them when they left. Good thinking. I start booting up my laptop while I roll the suitcase to my bed and start sifting through my clothes. After everything I've been through, the actions feel so mundane that I have to give myself a second just to let it all sink in. Everything's been moving so fast since that night Abigail and I kissed by the water. There's hardly been a chance to breathe. Still, being back on familiar territory with familiar comforts is reassuring. It makes me feel like a human again. Something as simple as being able to push a button on my computer and watch it respond is a little miracle that I don't think I'll take for granted again. Getting used to the necessities of normal life, like eating or sleeping, will definitely take some time though. Can we like, I don't know, change out that outfit just so we blend in more? Because we stick out like a sore thumb. Same with keeping warm. Unfortunately for Abigail, my clothes are the only option she has. They won't fit her as well, but they should be better than that nightgown she's been wearing for so long. I complete the outfit with a cute hat. I hope she likes it. Cute. Here you go. They're not the best fit, but, gotta make sure this is positioned properly. Yes, it is. Good. They're not the best fit, but they should at least keep you warm. Abigail hurries over and reverently takes the bundle from me. Are these your clothes? Yeah, they are. I hope that's okay. She holds the bundle to her chest. I'll treasure them. Oh. I show her to the bathroom and also explain how everything works. You have to explain her how a bathroom works. Fuck. I'm sure they had bathrooms back then. Well, they clearly didn't have running water back then, so I don't know. I have to admire her restraint in just accepting everything modern in stride. It isn't too long before she emerges once again. She holds her arms wide, the cloth hanging a little loosely from her inner parts. But she's smiling. She's so cute. Look at her. Our beautiful daughter. How do I look? Gorgeous. That's the word I managed to stammer out, though there's a whole slew of them that would work. Call me biased, but I think my clothes look better on her than me. Giggling, she does a slow spin, showing off more. The person who chose them has wonderful taste. Abigail gets comfortable in the living room while I grab my laptop from the bed. I sit down beside her, turning it so she can see. This is a computer. It could do a ton of things, but it also lets people talk via long distances. And that's how you're going to contact Tara? Right. Abigail watches with rapt attention as I open a browser and wait for the painfully slow internet to load my email. There are so many different pictures and words. Don't you ever lose track of where you are? Not really. You get used to it. Surely you're being modest. I imagine very few people could operate one of these. I love her. I wish. But really, most people have one of their own. Or even more than one. Yeah, they're sharing clothes, just like two close girlfriends. I love it. They're really a really common part of everyday life. I see. In that case, you'll have to teach me. Definitely. For now, though, I'm going to send that message. How will it be transported? It's, I try to think of how to explain this. Then I realize I have the perfect analogy. You know how all the force is totally connected? Like how you can sense all the different parts of it? Abigail nods, and slowly her face gets pale. Madison, don't tell me that modern people are connected in the same way. I can't help it, I burst out laughing. Indignantly, she waits for me to finish. It takes me past the point of having tears in my eyes before I do. I can see that I was wrong. She pretends to pout, though I can see in her eyes that she's just playing. I'm sorry. It's just that you look so horrified. She laughs too. Well, imagine how I feel. Apparently nothing is impossible anymore, so I simply have to assume the worst. She snuggles against me, pressing her cheek against my shoulder to show that she's only pretending to be upset. So go on, do explain it then. It's not the people who are connected, but the machines. If you have a computer, you can send a message instantly to any other computer in the world. That's so silly. We have to explain computers and stuff. It's more complicated than that, but that's the easy way to put it. I see. So you're going to send a message to Tara's computer? Right. I'm gonna tell her to come and meet us here. I hope she'll believe it's me. I'm sure that she'll know, somehow. I nod, entering Tara's email address into the field. It feels absurdly formal to be sending an email of all things to get in touch with her. I don't think we've ever had an email conversation in our lives. I leave the subject line blank. Anything I could put in there would feel comical. Hey, it's me, I'm the Fairy Queen now. I don't really know how to word the rest of this message, so I don't think about it. I just put my fingers through the keys and start to type. Dear Tara, I know this is going to sound kind of hard to believe. Kind of. This is crazy. I'm acquainting Abby with modern technology when the sound of loud voices from outside interrupts me mid-sentence. Well, one very obnoxiously loud voice. Wonder who that could be. I only know one person who could make a racket like that. I grab Abigail's hand and lead her out into the living room, just in time to hear Tara and Morgan reach the door. Babe, stop for 1 second. We don't know for sure this isn't a trap. Yeah, but what if it's not? I can't take that chance. I'm going in. Tara, wait. The door flies open so hard it bangs against the wall. Tara freezes in the doorway, probably not expecting me to be right there. Or maybe even here at all. Hey. Oh, God. This is so awkward. Everything I had rehearsed and planned to say in my head is forgotten in an instant. Somehow, this feels more unreal than anything else so far. I've never had any time to doubt any of the stuff that's happened to me. I had plenty of time to doubt that I'd see Tara again. Yes, finally they're together. Tara's mouth flaps up and down like a nutcracker statue. I don't think she forms a single coherent word. Morgan approaches from behind and places a protective hand on Tara's shoulder, which seems to reset her. She rubs her eyes as she stares at me. Either she doesn't believe what she's seeing, or she's about to cry. Maybe both. You changed your look a little bit, huh? When she finally speaks, her voice shakes like crazy. You like it? Tara gives me a slight nod. It makes you look like a total nerd. Without another word, she bursts into tears. Oh, She doesn't even hesitate a moment before bounding forward like an excited, tear-stained racing dog. I've spent so long worrying about her that seeing her safe and sound in the flesh is almost too much to handle. There are so many things that we left unsaid or unresolved. I'm just glad there's time to fix that now. I thought you were dead. Me too. We both burst into laughter, still punctuated with sobs. But at least we both have the clarity of mind to tell that this hug has gone on for way too long. Gotta give her a little pat, you know. When we split apart, she has a big dumb grin on her big dumb face. Welcome back, Mads. Good to be back, Tara. Our reunion over, Morgan finally steps forward, taking Tara's hand in her own. She smiles at me, her expression soft for once. Hey, Maddie. It's good to see you again. Her voice is as calm as ever, but the wide, genuine smile on her face tells me that these last couple of weeks have changed her as much as they changed me. You too, Morgan. I feel like I should say something more than that, but I know neither of us is much for words. It's nice to have someone else who feels, around who feels the same way for once. Before anything else, there's someone I'd like you to oh my god. Serien, please, get it together. Before anything else, there's someone I'd like to introduce you to. I turn to gesture for Abigail, but at first she's nowhere to be seen. Then, I spot a familiar flash of pink and purple lingering by my bedroom door. Right, we spent so long together that I've forgotten how timid she was when we first met. Her eyes are as wide as she wrings her hands, looking from me to Tara and back. Tara and Morgan look just as shocked once they notice her. I head over to where Abigail is and take her hand. They're okay, I promise. She nods, letting herself be led back into the living room. Tara, Morgan, I'd like you to meet Abigail. I pause for a moment. She's my girlfriend. Whoa, we do have a lot to catch up on. She turns to face Abigail. I'm Tara. I've been friends with Maddie for forever. It's nice to finally meet you, Tara. I've heard a lot about you. Hell yeah. All good things, I hope. Mostly. I'll take it. Morgan steps forward too. Morgan, nice to meet you. Abigail nods politely. You as well. So, let's sit down. We've got a lot of catching up to do, and not a whole lot of time to do it. I'll meet my girlfriend Abigail. She's nice, kind, and docile. Oh, and the ghost. My ghost GF. The four of us move to the couch and sit down. Right as we do, though, there's a loud grumble from beside me. Abigail clutches her stomach, looking absolutely mortified. What was that? What's happening? Oh, yeah, we should probably eat something. Oh, that's adorable. Eat. Her eyes light up. That's right, I'm hungry. Hungry. She's a hungry girl. Morgan and Tara look baffled. I can't blame them for that one. Like I said, a long story. Is there anything to eat? It's been a long time since either of us had a meal. I'll make us some breakfast. Cross your fingers for pancake mix. Anyway, I think that's everything. Minus the really juicy stuff anyway. I'm okay with not hearing about that, thanks. Abigail, now finally finished with her meal, wraps her arm around mine and rests her head against me. Morgan sighs and sends Tara me a meaningful look. She rises and clears her throat. Abigail, would you mind coming with me for a minute? Morgan's voice carries a more serious tone that feels like sudden departure from our light-hearted reminiscing. I knew it couldn't last forever, but I'm hopeful we can return to it soon. Is something wrong? No, not at all. But there's something we need to talk about. And besides... She looks at Tara, then over to me. Her tone might be serious, but her soft expression makes it clear she's not about to deliver any bad news. These two might need a bit of privacy. I nod at her as Abigail lets go of my arm. With a quick kiss on the cheek, she stands and walks to Morgan's side. The two of them head towards the bedroom, leaving Tara and I to stare at each other in silence. What? We look away from each other awkwardly as I try to think of what to say. Should I speak first? Should I wait for her? What do I say? She knows how much I missed her, but there was so much tension between us before I died. I never had a chance to apologize for hiding Abigail, or how I handled telling her I was going to quit. I take a deep breath and raise my head. I just need to go for it. I spent enough time waiting to speak. Whatever happens, happens. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. It was really shit of me I just... We both slam our mouths shut again. Tara's face reddens and chuckles softly. Maybe we should take turns. As long as you don't mind going first. She takes a long, overly dramatic breath and closes her eyes. I know I was shitty to you about leaving. I should have listened to you and accepted it instead of being all bitter and passive-aggressive. And I know it was even shittier once we got evidence. I shouldn't have frozen you out like that. Maybe a bad choice of words there, Tara. Oh God. Oh God. That's terrible. I mean, I shouldn't have ignored you the way I did. I want you to be a part of paranormal. I really do. I really do. Trying to exclude you was stupid and impulsive. Gosh, I'm like losing my voice. She looks me right in the eyes, and I can tell that all her typical bravado is gone. This is pure naked honesty. It's hard enough for me to manage something like that, much less her. She's really put her heart into this, and I'm more grateful for that. Does she know that Maddie is actually dead? Yeah, I think they caught up with that in that very short intermission. When all of this is over, whatever you decide to do, I won't stand in your way. You know I always want you to be a part of paranormal, but you gotta be your own person. And you're my best friend. Think I might have lost you forever made me realize that I have honestly no idea what I'd do without you. I give you a lot of shit, but really I do love you. And I'm sorry all this happened because I was too much of a screw-up to remember that. Tara exhales and slumps back into her chair, as if the act of apologizing drained all the energy in her body. She's grown so much in the short time we've been here. Then again, so have I. I need to make sure I show her the same sincerity in return. I'm sorry too, Tara. Even if I was mad, I shouldn't have hidden Abigail from you. It made things worse for the both of us, and it drove us apart when we should have been getting closer than ever. But more than that, I shouldn't have set up this whole thing into motion the way I did. The memory of our fight back home is painful, but I can't keep trying to run away instead of dealing with it head on. It's not fair to either of us. I should have told you that I was thinking about leaving, and why I was thinking it. I should have talked things over with you instead of dropping the bomb on you right before we left. When I thought I was going to be stuck here forever, I realized you were the person I'd miss more than anyone else, even more than my family. I don't know what I'm going to do when we get back. I still have a lot to figure out, but I do know whatever happens, we'll always be best friends. That's so sweet. Mads, As she struggles to think of what to say next, I gently put my arms around her in a reassuring hug. We've said enough for now. She hugs back, squeezing a bit too hard. We stay that way until it starts to get awkward, as hugs between us tend to do. I pull away and sit back down, a bit embarrassed. So, are we good? I let out a deep breath, releasing the anxiety that has been twisting my stomach in knots. Whatever happens next, I know it'll be easier without that dragging me down. Yeah, I think we're good. Are we good enough for me to start calling you the ghost with the most? Don't push it. Oh boy. So what are Morgan and Abigail talking about? I end up bringing Abigail into Tara's room. The two of us carefully step over the pile of clothes on the floor to sit on the bed. She bounces on it a few times. I don't think she's used the springs. Having fun? How do you people sleep in these? Aren't you afraid of just bouncing on a bed? It's not that bouncy. It's just comfortable. Where did you sleep 200 years ago? I'm pretty sure you had beds, right? Wonder what kind of beds they had. I suppose tomorrow I can let you know if I agree. So what is it that you wanted to talk about? It's hard to put into words. No matter what I had been preparing myself for, a conversation like this wasn't part of it. It's about family. Our family. You're Dowsing as well? I'm a Fisher, actually. But a change in last name doesn't change the fact that we're part of the same family. Feathers? That makes sense. I mean, they had feather pillows, so... At first, I couldn't believe it. When Maddie and Abigail were telling their story, I thought there must have been some sort of misunderstanding, or that I'd heard wrong. But the details all matched up, not just with what Evelyn's told me over the years. She tried to break my spirit, but with the notes and journals left behind by those before me. So, she hasn't changed. After all these years, it's still us. Yeah, I'm supposed to be next. There isn't anyone else. No siblings or aunts and uncles, just me and her. She makes a sound of sympathy and moves closer to me on the bed, touching my shoulder gently. I tense up, almost shaking hard enough to shrug her off, but she remains. It's horrible. I don't want to be that person anymore. The one afraid to let anyone close, physically or emotionally. I'm sorry. I just nod. I can tell that she doesn't know what to say either, and that's fine. Do you mind if I ask you something? Sure. Why didn't you leave? Back in my time, it wasn't even a possibility. There was no way I could have escaped. We wouldn't have gotten very far if we tried. But now, Madison told me about all sorts of fantastic machines and devices. Surely you could have gone. I shrug. Of course I considered it, dreamed about it even, but there's no way she could know that. And besides, I thought about running away many times. I thought of a lot of different ways to make sure she couldn't hurt me anymore, even killing her. But the same thing stopped me every time. She wouldn't just give up because I'm not around. She'd find someone else, just like she always has. And they died instead. I brace for her to tell me that's ridiculous, and that I should have put myself first, or to burst into tears at the very notion. Instead, she laughs. It's not a happy laugh, though, because Abigail did the exact same thing. I see. I understand. Truly. I chose to die for someone else's sake as well. Someone I cared about very deeply. She sighs wistfully, remembering days long gone. I can't help but smile, the same way that she laughed. I see I'm just carrying on the family tradition then. Let's make sure it ends with you. I nod. It will, one way or another. I am glad, though, to know that our family turned out to have people as wonderful as you. I'm really not anything that special. I disagree. Not just anyone could have done what you have. She leans forward, wrapping her arms around me in a gentle hug. This time, I don't hesitate. I hug her back. A family reunion. Family. It's never been a word that really meant much to me. All I have ever had was the monster in my home. Now though, I realize that's no longer the case. We separate, and I gesture towards the door. She nods. Together, we leave the room and rejoin the rest of our family. The rest of our family. I love that line. Abigail and Morgan come out of Tara's room and join us, both smiling. I'll have to ask her what they talked about later tonight. But right now, I'm just enjoying the moment. I feel more at peace than at any time since arriving in Eysenfield. Even during the sweetest moments with Abigail, there's still the lingering bleakness of being a ghost. Now, despite the threat of Evelyn, it feels like there's a chance that everything is turning out well. As we talk, Morgan's cat comes and hops up into my lap. I would have expected her to take to Abigail, not me. I scratch behind her ears. I mean, you are the fairy queen, so... I scratch behind her ears, and she leans into the motion, purring contentedly. Tara notices and sits up straight. Wait a minute. Oh, got it. Wait a sec. Mads, I just realized, you haven't met Geladora yet, right? I have, back in the shop, right after we arrived, remember? No, I mean like, met her. Morgan was right, she really can talk. She can? You shouldn't be surprised at this point, come on. I can. The cat looks up from my lap, staring into my eyes. Her tail swishes lazily. If I feel like it. Well, then why didn't you sooner? It's the first question that comes to mind. Geladora closes her eyes. After a moment, I start to think that she's fallen asleep, but she opens them once more. I didn't feel like it. I look over at Morgan, sitting across from me. I guess I owe you an apology. It's fine. She certainly didn't make it easier to believe. Geladora stands up, her tail lashing as she strides over to drape herself across Abigail. In response, Abigail strokes Geladora's fur, looking almost as gleeful as when we first had our first meal. I didn't know I could trust you, if I could trust you. Now I know. I leave the two of them to their cooing and cuddling and walk over to the front window, peering outside. How many times have I stared at the stars these past few nights? Abigail taught me a few constellations, but tonight, it looks like an entirely different sky. I rest my head against the window pane, soaking in the starlight and calm. Hey, by the way, you said you only came into the village the one time, right? Yeah, we didn't want to risk it any more than that, not with how close we came to Evelyn. Makes sense. You, didn't see anything embarrassing when you were spying on us, right? We weren't spying. Or at least we weren't trying to. But no, thank God. Oh, phew. For real though, after this is over, before we leave, you gotta show us some of the cool spots in the forest. Sure, that'd be fun. Actually, do you want to go right now? Oh wait, for real? I can show you the fairy clearing at least. That's our favorite spot. How long a walk is it? It's getting kinda late. Oh, we wouldn't need to walk. Who is this person? What have you done with Maddie? Tara's face slowly morphs from puzzlement to excitement as she realizes what I'm suggesting. You mean like magic? I nod. Oh, hell yeah. Her enthusiasm startles Geladora, who hops up and runs away. Abigail gestures in vain for her to come back. You two up for a field trip? Sure. Gelladora traipses back in, returning to Abigail's feet. Abigail perks up immediately. Wait, does that mean we can return Gelladora to the fairy circle thing? Would you like to come with us, Miss Gelladora? I suppose so. Carry me. What? Abigail gladly obliges. I lead everyone outside and into the tree line, just in case there's anyone watching. I gather everyone into a circle, and the four of us lock hands while Gelladora perches on Abigail's neck. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam. The forest greets me, and I respond in kind. It shows us the way to its heart, to the lake. I hold Abigail in Tara's hands tightly, and breathe the softest sigh. I thank the forest, then I open my eyes, and we're here. As soon as we arrive, I can feel the presence of the fairies in my mind. They're instantly aware of where we are, and I send them all a mental greeting, which is returned right away. Gelladora slicks her ears back, and her tail begins to lash harder than before. I wonder if she could feel magic too. Before I can ask, Tara whistles in awe. I guess Gelladora's lost most of her fairy consciousness abilities? Because she can't communicate with Maddie. Dang, Mads, you really leveled up, huh? I put all my skill points into magic. Even Morgan looks dumbstruck. Okay. Awesome. Something I'm not used to from her. She tilts her head back, staring in open-mouthed wonder at the glimmering trees and fairy lights. What is this place? Are we really still in the forest? Yes, it's a very special grove. It was one of the first places I brought Madison. We came back here many times. It definitely feels magical. Damn it, I should have brought my camera. We all head down to the pond. Tara and Morgan gawk at its unfrozen waters, the same way I did when I first saw it. I feel a strange sense of pride seeing them so excited about this place. A loud buzzing sound suddenly fills the air. Before I can warn Tara and Morgan about what's about to happen, fairies burst forth from the trees. Tara yelps in shock as they pass over her, wings beating noisily. Your Majesty! Hello, Syrup. You're back. You've returned. Hello, you three. It's nice to be greeted so enthusiastically. Oh, yeah. You did miss a lot. I'm sorry. Even if I didn't exactly want to be queen, I wave, expecting the three of us to come to me right away. Are you, like, doing the queen wave? The princess wave? But to my surprise, the fairies sail right past me and flock around Abigail instead. Our queen! Huh? Gelladora hisses as Abigail shrinks back, looking afraid. I called it. I'm not your queen. She's over there. Abigail tries to point to me, but the fairies ignore her. No, you're not. We know you aren't. It isn't you. One of them reaches for Gelladora, and she swats at the fairies with one paw. Just like Abigail did when we first encountered them. The fairies react with shocked indignance, their mouths open in identical shapes of puzzlement. They abandon verbal communication and instead emanate a wave of questioning curiosity. Although I can feel it, it's not directed at me. By listening, or rather feeling, I realize who they're communicating with. Gelladora. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Just to be sure I'm right, I communicate a request for confirmation. Despite her discomfort, Gelladora turns to me from Abigail's arms, blinking languidly. Yes, that's right. Now I'm the one whose jaw drops in shock. Care to fill us in, Mads? Gelladora, Fairy Queen. Everyone is silent for a moment. Even the fairies. Then Abigail clears her throat. Does that mean I should set you down then? No, this is fine. Wait a second. A little seed of hope blooms instantly within my heart. The fairies answer my question before I can even think it. The seed of hope withers and dies in response. There's only one problem. The fairy queen's a cat. Maddie? I close my eyes tightly. I see Gelador in my mind's eye, and the rest of the world fades away as I speak to her. Once again, the fabrics of time tear and disappear. The fairies guide our voices. Gelador can't be fairy queen. Not anymore. Not after what the moonsick one did to her. I don't understand. Why? Why would Evelyn turn on her own kind? Evelyn. The last pieces of the puzzle fall into place. I see it clearly. Evelyn, the rogue fairy, burning under moonlight. The fairy queen ritual gone wrong. Gelador running after Evelyn. And then disappearing. Oh, might as well save. I always do that. Without realizing it, I've reached out for Geladora. Stroking her fur, the fairies and I communicate with the Heart of the Woods. The Heart of the Woods! To free her and restore her rightful place on the throne. The wood ushers forth its strength. The fairies conglomerate around us, the buzzing increasing in frequency until it's a dull hum. Oh fuck. I reach within myself, the waxing moon basks the scene, and I gather its light into a pool of my hands. Reaching out, I feel the magic on Geladora begin to vibrate violently. It burns to the touch. Geladora yells in pain, and all at once the magic shatters and melts away. With a gasp, I'm back to the present. Abigail rushes over to catch me, and the effects of time return. Their interest in their obsolete queen waning. The fairies clump back up and get ready to depart. We'll see you soon again, when the moon is at its brightest, one way or another. With that cheerful reminder, they take off, fading out of sight. I separate their thoughts from my own and push them away. Madison, what happened? Madison and Abby are the fairy queens. Maddie and Abby are fairy queens. Morgan some kind of counseling? And Tara could be the priest. Fairy council? What? I guess that works. I take a deep breath and steady myself. Abigail scoops the pained Geladora into her arms, petting and cooing. It's a long story. I'll tell you later. Geladora? Are you alright? Yes. It was foolish to think you, new Spring Queen, could dispel such a powerful curse on a waxing moon. Geladora turns away and grooms herself. I feel a rush of guilt. Tara touches my arm slightly. You okay, Mads? Yeah, I'm fine. She grins and pats my back. Trying to ease the mood, she stretches wide and lets out a huge, nervous laugh. Good. Well, that wasn't anything like I expected. The fairies especially. What did you think they'd be like? I have no idea. But it definitely didn't involve your cat being a queen. I would have gotten you the nicer cat food if I'd known. Yo, Gelato. How come you never told us you were a fairy queen? Geladora doesn't even deign to look at Tara. You never asked. Oh my god. So sassy. As soon as we arrive back at the cabin, Abigail makes a mad dash toward the couch and flops down on it with a loud thud. I'm a little surprised by how quickly she covers the distance. Geladora leaps from our arms and trots over to the kitchen, immediately sticking her face in her food bowl. Oh, my feet. Are they sore? I can imagine walking around again after so long might be a bit draining. No, it's not that. It's these boots. Abigail kicks off her boots and sends them flying, listening to a yelp of surprise from Tara as one of the boots nearly hits her dead on. Your feet are bigger than mine. Do you have any idea what it feels like to get snow in your boots for the first time in 200 years? The three of us shudder in unison at the thought. Tara takes another step away from the boot, as if she's afraid of infecting it with her cold feet. I can tell you right now that when we go to America, I'm going to be spending the entirety of the winter months indoors. I can't help but grinning at her words, even if it wasn't entirely serious. That's the first time I've heard her speak about our future together with that much certainty. I make my way to the couch and sit down beside her, putting my arm around her without a second thought. She leans against me, our bodies perfectly aligned. Yeah. When the summer months roll around, I'm definitely taking you ladies to the beach. Abigail instantly perks up at that, clasping her hands together and leaning towards Tara with a huge grin on her face. Yes, goodness. The sand, the sun, I'd love to see the ocean. Oh, I love this so much, but we don't have much time. Morgan seems a little less enthusiastic about the prospect of the beach, her face an expression more of concern than excitement. If we go to the beach, I'm going to end up looking like a lobster. Yeah, but you'd be a really hot lobster. I try as hard as I can to suppress a groan, but Morgan and Abigail both chuckle. Abigail I can understand, but the fact that Morgan genuinely finds this kind of thing endearing is baffling. Thanks, babe. So, Abigail, what's the most interesting invention you've seen since you came back? I suppose I haven't seen much of it, but the internet seems like a wonderful tool. I love the idea of being connected and sharing thoughts, feelings, and creativity with everyone around the world. My girl, there isn't a single person more qualified to teach you about the internet than I am. We are gonna have a blast. There's no way I'm going to let you be the one to show her around the web. You get into enough trouble on your own. But Madison, doesn't Tara perform on the internet? I assume that means she's very knowledgeable about its workings. Tara raises an eyebrow and leans down to place her hands on the table, staring closely at Abigail. So, Mads told you about paranormal, huh? Oh no. She told me some things. I know you tell stories about supernatural occurrences, and that you take them very seriously, even when they're quite obviously untrue. Did she now? Sweetie, maybe we shouldn't. And she also told me that people all around the world enjoy watching you. It sounds like you must be an incredible storyteller. Nice save. Tara breaks into the same massive grin she always puts on when she knows she's found a new audience. You don't know the half of it. Abby, I've got 1,000,000 of them. I roll my eyes and lean back against the couch. Abigail just moves closer, ready to hear whatever Tara's going to say next. Just looking at her feels healing. If listening to Tara's stories makes her happy, then Tara can tell as many stories as she wants. Not that I ever tell Tara that, of course. One story turns to another. Morgan and I will chime in with a correction every now and then, but we mostly let Tara work her magic. Abigail keeps asking questions, and Tara keeps eating them up. If Morgan's anything like me, she must enjoy seeing the girl she loves acting so happy. I know I am. I don't know what's going to happen after this. We're still in danger. We still don't have a way out. But that doesn't mean we can't enjoy our time together. All of us. I just wish I could shake this feeling that this is the last time we'll have this chance. We stay like that for a while, telling stories, making jokes, and most importantly, talking about our future. Whether it happens or not, talking about it puts us all at ease. We talk about sharing technology. With Abigail, getting her and Morgan new wardrobes, where we're going to go on dates when we get back. And those moments, it all feels real, like we're remembering moments that haven't happened yet. It's so wholesome. Eventually, the sun begins to dip below the horizon. We have another huge meal to Abigail's delight. Afterwards, Tara tells her even more stories as Morgan and I clean up after them. I'm not sure if the four of us are going to stay in one apartment for long when we get back, but I think I'd really enjoy being around Tara and Morgan. Not as much as I enjoyed being around Abigail, of course, but enough enjoyment to make me want to stick with them. In time, Abigail begins to yawn and blink wearily as Tara talks. She hasn't had a chance to sleep since she got her body back. So she's no doubt unprepared for the strength of the body needs to rest. When the sun finally sets, we say our goodbyes and head for our room. I'm already looking forward to tomorrow. Really? Alright. Okay, I was thinking of ending it, but maybe a little more. I close the door to Tara's room and lean against it to steady myself. I'm still trying to process everything that's happened. I have family. Real family. Family that doesn't want to hurt me. And I'm not just talking about Abigail. When I was watching the three of them talk and laugh together, I felt like I was home. Like this is where I've always belonged. Like it's what I deserve. Hey, you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Sorry, just trying to wrap my head around all this. I get you. There's a lot to unpack. You can take your time with it. I guess that means now isn't a really good time to talk, huh? What do you mean? I wanted to talk to you about something. Or ask you about something. I don't know. It can wait if you still want to work on getting your stuff sorted. Is something wrong? No, I mean, I don't think so. I've just been thinking about some stuff. Like? Tara takes a deep breath and scoots back onto the bed. She curls her legs up towards herself, taking on a surprisingly subdued posture. It's well... You know how Abby's been calling us a couple all day, even though we told her we're not? Yeah, she's not very good at taking hints. I'm not sure if that's it. I think she's just, like, direct. Kinda like you. Runs in the family, I guess. I know we agreed that we were going to stay friends, or whatever you call this, until it's all over. I get that. But after seeing the two of them, I'm not sure if I feel like that anymore. They're gonna be official GFs. We still got a lot of shit left to deal with. We still don't have a plan, but I think that's okay. She shrugs half-heartedly and looks down. I want to give her a hug, but I can't move. Abby put a name on this thing we have when we couldn't, and maybe she's wrong, but I don't want her to be. I really love you, Morgan. I don't want to deny that. I want to be closer than just friends that love each other. I don't. The word leaves my mouth before I have a chance to think about it. What? Please don't ask. I'm sorry, I thought... It's not that I don't want to. That's why I'm asking you not to say it. Because I know I'll say yes if you do. She looks up at me. I can practically hear the cogs turning in her head. Why don't you want to say yes? People get hurt when they get close to me. I don't even like having friends because of how guilty I feel when Evelyn gets in the way. I'm already so close to you. Closer than I've ever been to anyone. But if I put a label on it, a part of me just feels like it would put you into more danger. I feel so stupid saying it out loud. It's just a word. Why am I so afraid of a word? Besides, I've never had a girlfriend before. I don't know what it could mean for me, or for you. What do you mean? What about the one that taught you how to knit? Oh no. How could I have forgotten about that lie? It was just so easy to say back then. It made me seem like I knew what I was doing. Made it easier to ignore what happened with those girls. What happened with them? What? Tara's understood everything about me, but I still don't want to tell her about what I did with them. Or why I did it. What? What did you do to them? Maybe, I don't know, brainwash them so they wouldn't even talk to Morgan, and therefore Evelyn wouldn't hurt them, maybe? I don't know. Hey, it's cool. I've had plenty of girls lie about having girlfriends before. It's just a thing people do sometimes. We can just forget about it. We're past lies now, right? Her words stab at me like needles. It's not like she's trying to force this out of me. I could even tell myself that this isn't a lie. That's just not telling her about something she never asked about. I don't know. Maybe she has powers. Maybe? No, Morgan doesn't have powers. What did she do with them? I'm scared. There's more to it than a simple lie. Wait, what am I saying? What am I doing? There are still things I haven't told you about me. About what I've done. Things that could make you change your mind. Tara manages a weak smile. It's hard to be reassuring when you don't know what you're reassuring someone about. If you don't want to date, that's okay. I get it. But nothing you can tell me is going to change how I feel about you. She sits forward again and pats a spot on the bed next to her. But right now, I'd rather be miles away from her, not closer. Did she actually kill someone? I hate feeling like this. I finally learned how to get close to people, and now I'm back to pushing her away. Do you remember what I called myself the first time we talked to Jaladora? Shell. But you know that's bullshit now, right? We're gonna make sure Evelyn can't get into your head anymore. Evelyn isn't the only one that made me feel that way. My throat feels dry. I need something to drink. Speaking of which, I need a drink. But I know what will happen if I stop. If this closes, it won't open again. I didn't learn how to knit from an ex-girlfriend. I learned from Hannah. Hannah? What? I had feelings for her. We were close, but she cut off all contact with me when I told her how I felt. Word travels fast in Eysenfield. Within a week, everyone in the village knew I was gay. That's when bad things started happening to Hannah. Oh, fuck. She slipped on a patch of ice and broke her leg. A few days later, her dog died. The next week, she came down with the worst flu any of us had ever seen. Damn it. I knew it was Evelyn's doing, but who was going to believe me? As far as they were concerned, all of this happened because she rejected me. I'm pretty sure some of the older people in the village still think I'm a witch. Oh god. I clench my fists, digging my nails as far into my palm as they'll go before my limbs freeze up. As far as they'll go until the icy hex within me takes over again. Nobody talked to me for a month. You told me that you spoke to some girls our age back when you were doing interviews. Did you ask them about me? Yeah, we did. What did they say? Nothing really bad or anything. One of them seemed closer to you than the other two, and her friend was kind of teasing her about it. Just typical stuff. That was probably Hannah. As if any of them have the right to mock each other. They're all the same. I probably slept with her. I wait for Tara to voice her disbelief, but she doesn't say a word. After Hannah got better, girls started coming by the store. They always had some kind of excuse. What? They'd start dropping hints. Talk about how they'd always be curious about what it was like to be with a girl. How they didn't have anywhere to be that day. What? still can't look at her. Any rational person would judge me for this. I know I've judged myself plenty. They always left right after. Most of them wouldn't even talk about it. They just go back to their normal lives. Fucking... that's terrible. That's... I mean, there's nothing wrong. Morgan did nothing wrong. I guess some of them talked, though. Soon enough, I got a reputation. I knew I was being used. I resigned myself to being a shell, so I let them use that shell. I don't know when I started moving, but before I know it, I'm standing by the bed. Evelyn never let me feel like this body belonged to me. She chose my clothes, she chose my style, she even chose what I did with my hair. It was her body, and she wanted it how she liked it. Oof. I can't keep standing. As much as I want to push away, I sit down next to Tara. Looking at her face, I can't tell what she's thinking. My mind runs through every worst-case scenario as I make myself push onward. But things have been different with you. For the first time, sex started to mean something. Being open started to seem possible. Being myself started to seem possible. But all I know about myself is how easy it is for other people to use me. Oh no. If I go out into the world and live for myself, I don't know what kind of person I'm going to become. The shaking has started to subside, replaced by a painful knot in my gut. Almost there, I can make it. What if I end up becoming someone you can't love? What if my shell is the only worthwhile part of me? Without warning, Tara throws her arms around me and pulls me close. I wrap my arms around her waist without even thinking. You're not a shell, Morgan. You're the furthest thing from that. Just because someone tried to make you something other than yourself, or because people took advantage of you, that can't destroy the real you. That you has always been there. And I know it a lot better than you might think. She nuzzles my neck, and I can feel the dampness of her cheeks. She's crying. You've got passion. You've got personality. You've got conviction. You've got so much awesome stuff in you that I couldn't name it all if you gave me a whole week. All of that is the real you. Tara grabs me by the waist and gently leads us over to the bed. I press my forehead against hers and, for once, allow myself to be comforted. This is so sweet, but I know it's going to take a lot of healing from Morgan. She strokes my hair. Time slows to a standstill. We kiss. I hold Tara close in my arms. She's nestled close to me. The sun is long gone, but the moon is bright enough to illuminate her smile. I'm smiling too. I close my eyes and let myself relax. I think I may actually sleep well tonight. But as always, luck isn't on my side. Hey. What? Do you hear that? I strain my ears and see if I can sense anything out of the ordinary. But apart from the usual sounds of the forest, it's silent. I can't hear anything. Maybe you dreamed it. Unless this is a dream, it's definitely real. I can hear it right now, I swear. Okay, I'm sorry to do this to you guys, but yet again, I gotta leave on a cliffhanger. It's been like 2.5 hours of runtime. And next episode, we're gonna find out what the fuck is going on outside. Oh my god. I'm shocked from this whole episode. I'm sorry. I can't right now. How about... Oh, goddamn. I don't know. Should I continue? Maybe after a break? I don't know if some of you are going to bed anyway. Should I keep going, or... I do need a quick break before I even continue. Okay. I'll be back very soon, alright? I know, but still, I want you guys to have an option, because it's pretty early for me. It's only 9:32. I could keep going. I'm just being mean. Alright. I'll be right back. Alright, get out of here with your arson burning up my chat. How could you? Alright. Ah, finally, here comes the fire truck. Okay. So something is very spooky is going on, and looks like only one who heard it is Tara. And I hope this isn't Evelyn playing a trick. Unless this is a dream, it's definitely real. I can hear it right now, I swear. I sit up in bed and look over at her. She's already most of the way up, head swaying as she looks for the source of whatever she's hearing. Well, what does it sound like? Kinda like, She makes a strange whooshing noise and twirls her arms around. I don't see how our movements are part of a sound, but I don't understand what she's talking about, no matter how she puts it. She looks back at me for confirmation, but all I can do is shrug. In response, she jumps out of bed and starts pulling her clothes on. I'm gonna go see what it is. You coming? Bad idea. Bad idea. Whether or not this sound is real, I'm not about to let her go off on her own. I promise I'd protect her, and that includes protecting her from mysterious noises. Right behind you. Oh, this is bad. Besides, as powerful as Maddie is, there's still a chance Evelyn could be trying something. I follow her out of bed and pull on my shoes. She gives me a quick grin in response, excited to have me along for the ride again. Please don't. Tara bolts out the door as I finish tying my laces. A second later, I hear her banging on the door to Maddie and Abigail's room. Mads! Are you guys making that noise? I pull on my sweater and walk into the hall in time to see Maddie slowly open the door of her room, covering herself with a blanket. Tara, it's nearly 2 in the morning. Whatever this is, can't it wait until morning? Come on, not you too. I thought it was coming from your room. Abigail's voice calls out from the room, along with the rustling of sheets. What was coming from our room? Are you kidding me? She turns and storms away from the door, moving out into the kitchen. I nod apologetically at Maddie before following Tara. Babe, come on. Let's just go back to bed. I'm sure that whatever it is can wait until morning. It keeps getting louder, though. What if it's something dangerous? Maybe Evelyn has her own evil forest spirit and she's riding it towards the cabin or something. But no one else hears anything. Right? There's a pang in my heart. It's cold and familiar. If the sound is that loud, but none of us can hear it, maybe it's only meant for her to hear. Fuck. As I try to figure out how to get her back to bed, Maddie and Abigail join me in the hallway. So, what's she doing this time? She woke up hearing some kind of whooshing sound that I couldn't hear. I thought she just imagined it, but she can still hear it. Maddie rubs her chin, puzzled. Abigail looks at Tara with a worried expression. I can't shake the unsettling feeling in my chest either. This isn't the first time something like this has happened, so I'd be inclined to dismiss it. But with everything else that's happened this month... Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck, Tara. Oh, I just noticed her shirt is a full moon now. God damn it. Before she can finish her sentence, Tara turns towards the door. There! It's right outside. Abigail realizes it first. She steps towards Tara, reaching out her hand. Tara, don't. What if it's... Oh no. No, no, no. I'm an idiot. Why didn't I figure it out sooner? Tara, stay away from the door. She doesn't look back. As she takes another step towards the door, I will myself to start moving again. Now you guys are actually gonna be able to see what I'm talking about. You're gonna feel so dumb for doubting me. I'm running towards her, but it's too late. She grabs the handle and throws the door open. Fuck. Wait, what? Oh God. I'm scared. There's nothing outside. Maybe that sight will be enough to bring her back to her senses. The sound's gone. It was right there. She turns back to look at me. I'm only a couple steps away, and I can see the expression on her face. She's terrified. Babe, what? Oh no. A flash of light fills the room. I'm stopped dead in my tracks as I raise my arm to cover my eyes. Tara! The light dissipates and my eyes slowly readjust. In the haze, my fears are confirmed. She's gone. Tara's gone. I'm frozen. I can't process what's happening. I'm not sure how long the tears start rolling down my face before I notice them. Maddie and Abigail look at me in silence. And then I start screaming. I've never made a sound like this. It's an angry roar that fills the cabin. No! Morgan, it was supposed to be me! It's happening again, just like everyone before her. I love her, and now, because of me, I collapse to the ground. Not her, please! Hot tears fall from my cheeks to the floor below. I feel a pair of arms wrap around me, and a voice in my ear. Morgan, it's okay. It'll be okay. Fuck! I slowly turn towards her. She and Maddie both stand close to me. I can see how worried they are, for Tara and for me. Maddie puts her hand on my shoulder. I flinch, but I don't pull away. She's still alive. I can feel it. Whatever just happened didn't kill her, but it did move her. I can't figure out where yet, but I can sense her somehow. You're sure? I'm sure. We can find her. I think I know where she might be. Where? If it was Evelyn who took her, she most likely brought her to the church. That's where she performed the ritual to... She trails off. But I know what she was about to say. The transfer ritual. She wants Tara's body. But why her? That's what she was raising me for. Why would she take her? I'm not sure, but I've got a feeling that there's only one way to find out. I had hoped we'd have time to come up with an actual plan before we had to face her, but we can't just let her have Tara. Okay, now I have to keep going. I'm already heading for the door. Maddie and Abigail follow close behind. We can figure something out on the way. Let's go. We'll think of something. We have to. This time it's going to be different. I'm not going to let Evelyn win again. I'm getting Tara back, no matter the cost. And this time, I'm going to make sure Evelyn never hurts anyone again. For better or for worse. This is the end. Oh God, last chapter already. Oh. Well, boys and girls, this is the first time we're in Tara's point of view anyway. She's okay for now. I don't even have time to be disoriented before I hit the stone ground. Hard. I struggle to pick myself up and stand, but before I can, footsteps approach. Evelyn's, of course, and I'm hauled to my feet. She does it with one hand. She's way stronger than she looks. Hello, Tara. As expected, we're in the church. She drags me over and throws me onto the altar. Oh, fuck. I try to resist, but my limbs won't move. Oh, hey, thanks for the ride. I'm scared. More scared than I've ever been in my whole life, but I don't want her to have the satisfaction of knowing it. She walks away, out of sight, although I can still hear her close by. They're gonna come for me, you know. We figured out your whole plan. They're already probably on the way. Let them. I'll kill them too. Her tone is casually disinterested. She can't even give me the courtesy of pretending she cares. I wish I could move my head to see her, but I can't. I can't move any part of me, other than my mouth. It's always such a nice feeling to return here. Such a sense of renewal and energy. Although I imagine right now you don't feel the same way. I don't know. I'm digging the ambience. I'm about to die and I'm making jokes. I mean, what else am I supposed to do? We had a plan. One with a good chance of working. I know that Mads and the rest won't abandon me. They'll just switch it up a little. Same as if she'd taken Morgan like we expected. Honestly, it's probably better for everyone that Morgan's the one who's still free right now. She's less likely to screw something up than I am. Still, it's all I can do to suppress the little voice inside of me telling me to be afraid. To acknowledge that I'm going to die. Or worse. Really, you should be thanking me. For what? I must have missed it. Because by dying here, you've given poor Morgan another chance. If she runs away now, I'll have no more need of her. I'll let her live. Live? Jeez. Of course, if she turns up here with any delusions of grandeur, she'll die along with the rest of them. A chill runs up my spine. Because I know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that there's no way she won't come for me. That she won't run away. Still, the way that Evelyn can talk so cruelly about her own daughter makes it hard for even me to keep up my attitude. You really don't feel anything, do you? You raised her, and you live with her, and even after all that... Finally, you get something right. I don't feel anything for her. You got something wrong, too. Evelyn halts and then stalks closer to the altar. Close enough that I can see her wildly dilated pupils, the razor-sharp points on her fangs. I didn't raise her. I cultivated her. From the minute she was born, I prepared her for this fate, to be a worthy vessel. How could I have known that a much more useful one would arrive at my doorstep, just days away from my ascension? Now she takes a step back, letting the moonlight fall across her. She arches her back like a cat, enjoying it. She raises an arm, and I'm lifted into the air like a circus performer, suspended from nothing. My arms are snapped to my side. I struggle as hard as I can, but I still can't move at all. I can't even flail around. Still, her words pique my curiosity, and I'm dying to know what she meant. Since I might be dying anyway, I might as well ask. More useful how? She grins. Because this night is very, very special. For years, centuries even, I've whiled away my time here in Eysenfield. It's amused me to no end. Oh fuck, I think I know where this is leading. But I've grown bored of it. I desire to see more of the world. And while any human body would do, I suppose, there's merit in one such as yourself. One with influence and fame. I don't even know the words to convey how disgusted I feel. It's not enough for her to steal my body, but she also wants to pretend to be me? I think the horror I feel must show on my face, because she smirks. As she does so, her skin starts to shimmer and shake, like there's light just underneath it. A thin thread of ethereal matter, like the spell that she used to bring me here, ekes into existence. It stretches between her hand and my chest. The second it comes into contact with me, I feel like all the strength is sapped out of me. Like I'm being sedated. You two were demon. I don't think that would work out very well. She's, very different. I hope I'm only passing out and not dying. I'm not sure if the two feel different. It would suck extra hard if I was dying though, because then my last sight would be Evelyn sneering cruelly. Just before it all goes black, she manages to get in one final taunt. What an ironic fate for you, don't you think? You came out here seeking magic, and now you found it. God. What the fuck? We're up and ready to go near the instant that Tara disappears. It's a shock, of course, but not one that messes up all our plans. I walk to the front door, which is still open and banging in the wind. I'm going to fucking kill her if she hurts Tara. Tara will be fine. She's tough. Besides, we've got a plan, right? After a long moment, I nod. Right. Maddie turns back to face Abigail, who's half hidden by the bedroom door. Sorry about the Steam notification. Again. Keep forgetting to turn it off. Are you sure you want to go, sweetheart? You can stay here. Of course not. There's no way you're doing this alone. I'm just a little nervous, that's all. Me too. I'm a lot nervous, actually. We'll be fine, though. If she keeps saying that, it'll be true, right? I wish I could believe it. I wonder if Matt even does. I scoop up Gelidora and wait outside. We need to leave now, but I force myself not to rush them along. A minute later, they follow me outside. Does she even know that Maddie's a fairy queen now? I guess that gives us more of an advantage. We hurry out into the woods. Despite some wind and fog, the night is relatively clear. Are you sure you don't want me to just take you to the church? I could have us there in a second. I know, but she can't know about your powers yet. If we arrive too fast, then Evelyn will know something's up. It would be nice to take the easy way like that, but we can't do anything rashly. Not if it might hurt Tara in the long run. Right. We have to wait until her soul is out of its body. That's when we'll send the signal. Do you know how long that'll last? Like, how long it'll be exposed? So they do have a solid plan. I wonder when they talked about that. I have no idea. I hope it won't be instant. You hope? I nod. I wish that I knew more. I really do, but it's magic, and magic is rarely predictable. That's the only thing that I can say with confidence about it. I mean, surely Abigail would know, right? I'm not sure what more I should say. This is where we'll have to part. Even though I'm making the rest of my journey on foot, Maddie and Abigail will need to use magic to get to the fairy clearing. Before we do, though, there's one last thing I need to say. Maddie. I know there isn't really time, but I need to say this, since I might not get another chance to. Gelidora nuzzles my chin, reassuring me. I'm sorry. That doesn't even come close to describing it, but it's all that I can say. For bringing you out here, getting you involved in all of this. I never imagined that any of it would turn out this way. So, if you still hate me, I understand. I just wanted you to know. It feels good to have the words out there. I've spent so much time apologizing these past few weeks, but it's still a bit of relief every time. Morgan. Well, first of all, I accept your apology. But I promise, I never hated you. It was my fault for acting like such a bitch when we first got here. And as for everything else, well, some of it might have been Tara's fault, but a lot of it was my fault too. Let me save. I have the weirdest, like, paranoia that suddenly my power's gonna go out. Better not say that. So let's get this over with. We'll save Tara, take care of Evelyn, and then we'll all go home. Simple, right? I just nod again. I'm not sure I can talk right now. Not without crying. And I hate crying. I wish it were that simple. I hope it will be that simple. But it rarely is. The moon is full. Don't have much time left. I swallowed the lump in my throat. I have to say something. Oh, God. A choice. Fucking hell. Either one way or another, it ends tonight. I'm leaving Eysenfield, and I'm taking Tar with me. Or I'll keep Tar safe, no matter what it takes. We don't know what's gonna happen. I would say, one way or another, it ends tonight. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm leaving Eysenfield, and I'm taking Tara with me. That sounds like a way better option. Please don't be bad. One way or another, this ends tonight. I don't care what it takes. Evelyn will be stopped. Tara and I will leave for the life we talked about. That I've dreamed about for so long. I'm going to protect my legacy. I'm not going to let her hurt anyone else. Maddie and Abigail smile weakly. I wonder how I must appear to them. At first, Maddie thought I was crazy, even if she accepted my apology. I wonder if her opinion has changed. It doesn't matter what she thinks, though. All that matters is getting out of here alive. I'll see you two soon. I don't waste any more time talking. I set off for the church. Oh, God. It really does all end tonight. Fuck. This is hardly a plan. It's barely more than an idea. It relies far too much on luck and everything going our way. But it's all we have. The furious winds tell me that I'm in the right place, as if there were any doubt. When I approach the doors to the church, they blast open. I've been expected. I don't waste any time. I rush in. Tara floats in midair, suspended by invisible magic. She lies prone, but with her arms and legs apparently locked in place. She looks dead. A colorful cloud floats above her, with a long tail spiraling back towards her body. I don't even need to be told. I know that it's her soul. Wait, whose soul? Tara's soul? Oh God, Tara's soul. It thrashes about as much as a cloud can, but is seemingly locked out. Below, Evelyn stands hunched with her back to me. A trail of malevolent white magic tethers her to Tara. Moonlight pours through the window behind them, piercing Tara and illuminating Evelyn. She's different. Her hair's white. She's moonsick. When she hears me enter, she stands up straight, her back cracking obscenely. She's disgusting. Oh, God. What the fuck? Morgan, you came. Her voice isn't the voice I know. It's raspy and inhuman. It echoes around the church louder than it should be, dragging itself from corner to corner. I knew you would. You always do. Her body spasms and twitches as if electrified. Still, her voice remains steady and flat. Of course I came. You're not taking Tara. You're not taking anyone else ever again. She laughs, but it sounds like a joke. There's no humor in it. It's inhuman. Do you know how many times I've heard that before? Countless. And yet here we are. Predictable. You humans always are. Curiously so. You have all this freedom, but don't know how to use it. I'm thinking that's blood. Pity, 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 pity. Soon I'll have taken the body of your friend, and you'll be dead, and I'll be far, far gone. What the fuck? Oh God, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. You see, I've grown tired of playing pretend out here in the woods. I've decided it's time for something new. And Tara is going to give that to me. You'll still be a pretender. Geladora! Evelyn seems to notice Geladora for the first time, and she licks her bloody lips. So you're here too. Fitting. Evelyn's gaze narrows, then her eyes widen once again. She points imperiously at Geladora and I, and the stone walls of the church rumble in response. I can tell you're still no queen, no more than that brat who stands beside you. You're still powerless. Tell me, who's the pretender now? A brick detaches itself from the ceiling, plummeting down straight towards us. I dart out of the way, barely managing to avoid it. Geladora yells as I squeeze her harder than intended. You're just as pitiful as she is. What did you think you could do? How did you think you had any chance? Or is it human nature to try, even if you're doomed to fail? The moon is at its peak, or close to it. If she waits much longer, she won't be able to complete the ritual, and she'll have done our job for us. I'm so fucking stressed right now. God damn. Where are Maddie? Where's Maddie? Where are the fairies? Maybe she knows this, because she turns away from us once again. I have to stop her. I push my legs forward, but some invisible force pushes back, like moving through quicksand. I can barely inch forward. Something's protecting her. Inch by inch, I have to keep moving. A pulsing ball of magic starts to form in front of Evelyn, and she focuses intently on it. The light from the moon falls directly on her. Her skin reacts to it, bubbling and boiling like hot wax. Oh, God. It must be agonizing, but she doesn't react. Maybe she's beyond pain. Fuck, those eyes. Geladora leaps out of my arms, making her own way beside me. Her breathing is ragged and labored. Neither of us wastes any energy on more words. I don't know what I'll do if I reach Evelyn. I just know that I can't sit still. The coalescing ball of magical energy continues to grow and grow, taking on a sinister dark hue, the color of a moonless night, the color of an empty void. It starts to spin, crackle, and shimmer. That's when I realize that this isn't for the soul transfer. It's too strong, too unstable. Is it to kill Morgan? What? No. A tendril of malevolent energy suddenly shoots out straight towards me. It moves too fast for me to react. pierces me like an arrow. Godless, fiery pain burns through my veins. My whole body stiffens, refusing to move. I can't even cry out. Each individual atom of my body feels like it's being tortured. Like a burning needle being driven through them. No. I want to scream. I want some sort of release, but I'm not even granted that mercy. Behind the pain, there's a rising, mounting horror. I'm going to die here after all, aren't I? My vision starts to go black. I welcome oblivion. At least then, I won't have to hurt anymore. I try to move my eyes to fixate on Tara. If I'm going to die, I at least want my last sight to be of her, even like this. I can't even manage that. All I see is Evelyn. She says something, her lips moving, but I'm deaf to it. All I can hear is a deep, resonating, ringing sound in my ears, like some perverse bell toll. Then, Evelyn's eyes go wide. Wider than before. The air behind her shimmers and shakes, just like your magic spell. Empty space tears itself open, and she's sucked backwards like a rag doll. In an instant, the magic and the pain is gone, leaving behind no trace. What? That has to be Maddie, right? That's the same rainbow. I fall forward, my momentum having been locked in place with me. And just ahead, Tara crashes through to the ground limply. I stagger to my feet, not trusting my body to support me, but it does. The complete absence of pain is a shock in its own right. I feel like I should be experiencing the after effects, but I'm not. All that lingers is the memory. Gelidora scurries over to me. Morgan, are you alright? I think so. I feel fine, actually. What happened to Evelyn? She licks the back of her paw for a second, then stops. I'm afraid that I panicked and sent the signal to Madison. I tried to help you, but I couldn't. My own power is still weak, not nearly enough to match Evelyn's. There's no changing it now. None of this matters if Maddie is unable to stop Evelyn. It was going to be unlikely to begin with. Wait, now Evelyn's with Maddie? Oh, shit. It looks like we're in a hard fight. Gelidora must know as much too. She pats back and forth, her tail twitching in agitated fervor. I stroke her fur. Still, thank you. Can you help me check on Tara? Of course. We rush over to where Tara lies prone on the cold floor. Her soul is nowhere to be seen, which I hope means it returned to her body. Oh God, Tara. I cradle her as tenderly as I can, checking for a sign of a pulse or breath. I gently prop her against my chest, stroking her hair. Please be okay. Please. 2 tears drip down my face, landing on hers. I didn't realize I was crying. Gelidora lingers beside us, nuzzling her face against Tara's cheek. She's alive. I can feel that much. Is she okay, though? I don't think she should experience any lasting effects from the magic. It's the fall to the ground that worries me more. That's true. She fell from pretty high up onto a stone floor. I wipe away the tears that fell on her, steeling myself to prevent any more. Humans are like a weird... Humans are so weird. They can die instantly from a fall or, like, fall off a cliff and still make it alive. I trace my finger across the curve of her jaw, down to her lips. They press together, just a bit, to kiss my finger. Tara! Tara, can you hear me? I'm afraid to let hope spring into my heart again. Her lips move, just barely. I can't hear you. There's a soft, blessedly warm gust of air against my face as she sighs, and forces her eyes open. I said, I'm dumb as bricks, babe. It'll take more than head trauma to hurt me. Tara, yes. We still have one big problem to face, though. I pull her up and into a hug, and she pats my back. You're okay? You're sure? Yeah, I'm sure. I wipe my eyes as we part to face each other once again. I was so scared. I wasn't. I knew you'd save me. I don't deserve someone like her. Is there any way we can get to Mads? She might need our help. We both turn to face Geladora. I can take us there, but I don't know how much use I'll be once we arrive. Tara moves the question, but I place a hand lightly on her arm. Geladora's barely holding on as is, and her guilt at her inability to do so is more palpable. It's all up to Maddie. Let's go. There isn't much time. I help Tara to her feet, and she immediately winces, hissing in pain. Are you okay? I'm fine. I guess I just hurt my ankle in the fall. She's able to stand on her own, giving me a shaky smile. I don't like it, but there's nothing I can do right now. At least it's only her foot and not her head or back. With a graceful jump, Geladora hops into my arms once again. I stand next to Tara, who leans against me for support. Okay, this is it. With one hand, I support the cat. With my other, I take Tara's other hand in my own. Then, I nod. We're ready. Oh, Maddie, hang in there. My heart pounds as Abigail and I arrive in the Fairy Grove. This place has been the setting of most of my favorite memories here in the forest. I could have never guessed that it would be where everything ends. I can feel the fairies, my subjects, watching from close by. They don't show themselves, but their presences are like tiny little pressure points on my consciousness. They're just as tense as I am. Closing my eyes, I reach out to the forest, asking for its aid. It still hurts, badly. It laments the terrible pain that it suffered. I promise that it'll be okay. It's my duty as queen to ensure this. I hold the forest in my heart, and promise to rid it of the moonsick one. Abigail and I walked to the water's edge. Nervousness tears at my stomach. Geladora's signal could come at any time. I have to be ready. High above, the moon offers its light to us. The whole lake is dyed in silver glow, shimmering and refracting and amplifying. Moonlight caresses my face like a lover, warm and invigorating. I indulge in it, letting it sink in through my skin, my roots, my forest. Every little second could be crucial. Any second now. How do you feel? She holds my hand loosely in hers. Nervous, in a way I've never felt before. Nothing else in my life has ever been this important. There's never been life or death consequences like this. Alright, good night, Ember. It's okay. Get some rest. What if I screw up? I expect to see fear reflected in Abigail's face as well, but when I turn towards her, she looks serene and unbothered. I have complete faith in you, Madison. The fairy said that not just anyone could be queen, but that you could. They saw something in you too. We're all putting our trust in you. The whole forest is, and our friends too. We wouldn't do that if we didn't believe in you. I wish I could use a magic spell to boost my confidence. For all the power that I hold right now, it sure feels insignificant. So far, everything has come naturally. Moving through the woods or interacting with its denizen is easy, but to use my magic against another being, that's something else entirely. But I can't let that kind of attitude overwhelm me. I can't be defeated before it even starts. Abigail's right. Everyone is counting on me. I can't let them down. Thank you. For what? For believing in me. She leans forward and kisses my cheek. Always. Always. That word has meant a lot of different things to me lately. My concept of forever keeps shifting and changing. Even now, I'm not entirely sure what it means. I suppose that, after tonight, I will. You know, when we were here before, there were times that I wish it could last forever, where it was peaceful, and just the two of us. But now, more than anything, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready for us to make new memories, together. Nothing would make me happier. When you came into my life, I thought it would be fleeting, like a nice dream, that I might someday look back upon and smile. I didn't dare imagine, nor hope for anything more. But now, well, perhaps you've made an optimist out of me after all. I kiss her forehead, and then her nose, and then her lips. I love you. More than anything. I love you too. More than anything. Together, we face forward. And that's when I feel it. A cold flash of foreign fear. It stabs through my head and the idyllic scenery. I recognize the origin immediately. Gelidor's panic signal. I step away from Abigail, clearing a space. I force myself to breathe evenly as I reach within myself, mentally searching for the magic. Oh God. I call upon the power within me. Unlike before when it blossomed and flourished at my request, now it lies dormant and afraid. I understand. I'm afraid too, but there's no time to be afraid. Using my authority as Fairy Queen, I coax the magic forth. The church's presence aches like an infection, and I promise the force that I'll help heal it. The magic ripples through the woods and sets upon the church, finding Evelyn easily. I can't see her in my mind's eye, but I can feel her. Feel her hatred, and scorn, and fear. So I'm not the only one who's afraid then. That's more reassuring than anything else. Here she comes. If she detects the magic that's coming for her, then I can't tell. At my will, the tendrils of magic wrap around her like vines. Then I stick my hand out, my physical, actual hand, and I pull. The result is immediate. Just above the surface of the lake, a ripple disrupts the air as a massive rift opens up. Within seconds, Evelyn falls forward through it, collapsing in a heap to the shore. That's what you get. It's wrong though. She's still in her regular body. It's not just her vulnerable soul like it should be. Fuck. I take a fearful step back. Why did Gelidor send the signal early? My blood runs cold. What if something happened to her and Morgan? What if she wasn't too early? What if I was too late? I try to rally my thoughts and concentrate on what to do. She quickly picks herself up, wild eyes casting back and forth. Her appearance is monstrous. It finally fits her personality. Her gaze falls on me, and her lips curl in hatred or disgust. So it's you. I see that even death didn't want you. And now here you are, stinking of snow and pine, stinking of them. You wear their clothes, you bear their crown, but you are not one of them. She lumbers forward, her steps seeming pained, It's either days from being pulled her, or from the effects of her own spell, but I can't count on that to last. You're right. I'm not. Just like you'll never be a human. I need to buy myself time while I try to think. Human? Is that what you think I want? I will be more than human. I guess the wind stirs up, likely at our calling. The trees shake and I plant my feet firmly to keep from losing my balance. I feel the barriers in my mind freeze and break away. She's gone. What? As the world spins around me, the moon shines down on the lake. I search for her presence with my mind, but I can't find her. Like a fish that slipped off the line. I need to calm down. My heart races as my head begins to ache and throb. You're so fragile, so easily damaged, so easily broken. The biting wind intensifies, threatening to sweep my crown away. Abigail shields herself with one arm. Evelyn, however, remains unaffected. What's wrong, little child? Why not make this easy on yourself? I can make it painless for you this time. Reality and illusion blur and blend, and the fabrics of my vision tear. She takes another step forward in my mind, shattering what little focus I had. She's almost close enough that if she lunged forward, she could grab me by the throat. Instead, Evelyn scratches at her own neck, her nails drawing blood, but she doesn't seem to notice. High in the sky, the moon watches over us. Indifferent, I can feel its light sustaining me, the same as it bolsters her. She turns to look up at it, shivering. Do you know why you were the first to go? Because you were the easiest. All alone off in the woods. Tragic accidents happen all the time out there. Really, it's my daughter you have to blame for all this. It's a shame you won't get another chance. I try to find her again with the magic, but I can't. It's like she isn't even there. Where her consciousness should exist, there's nothing but a gaping hole. A void that feels familiar somehow. Her eyes glow red as she faces me again. Looking for me? My consciousness is immediately assaulted. My head pounds as I feel Evelyn enter it like an intrusive thought. With every push and pull, she rips at my soul. My magic quakes under her power, flickering and fearful. I try to reach out and grab it, pull my own consciousness and strength into me, but every time I get close, it's yanked away. Unrelenting, overwhelming. Die, die, die. It echoes and reverberates in my skull. I choke, momentarily forgetting how to breathe. Every single thought, every single idea, snatched and destroyed. I can't even see anymore. I knew it. Your gifts are wasted on you. Queenship is wasted on you. What good is power if you don't know how to use it? All of you are the same. A searing pain in my head forces me to my knees. Your friends couldn't save you then, just as you couldn't save them now. An unseen force shoves my head upwards, making me look at Evelyn. A peculiar ringing blocks out all other sound, except for our words. I'm deaf to the wind, to the forest, to Abigail. See what you've done, and despair. She gestures imperiously towards the empty space between us. Just like the portal I used to bring her here, another hole in space rends itself open. Through it, I can see a glimpse of the murky stained glass window of the church. Then, it upends, unceremoniously spilling out my friends. Or at least their bodies. What? Nausea hits me at the sight. Tara's there, her body limp and broken, arms and legs splayed at an obscene angle. Jesus. Blood trickles from her mouth, beneath her open, sightless eyes. This has to be a trick. Morgan is also there, in a heap. Though her body isn't as mangled as Tara's, a grisly wound stretches from her ear, across her face and down her neck. Blood stains the sand beneath her. Even Gelidora lies there, motionless, though her back is turned to me. A small puddle of water forms beneath her, spreading as she seems to melt. I scream. I want to run towards them or clutch at my heart, but I'm pinned in place. How? What went wrong? Was this why the signal came too early? I should have left them alone. I should have gone with them. This is my fault, isn't it? Evelyn's attack on my mind ceases in order to let me truly comprehend the horror before me. As much as I fight it, my heart gives way to what Evelyn asked of me. I despair. No. Oh, God. I don't know how much more of this I can take. Okay. I'm going to take a very quick break and I'll be right back. Ah, fuck. Our feet touch solid ground, and Tara immediately loses her balance. I grab her shoulder to keep her from falling. Gelidora pants heavily, the magic having taken a heavy toll on her. Maddie, Abigail, and Evelyn are on the far side of the lake. Only Abigail seems to notice us. Even from a distance, the terror on her face is clear. Come on, they need our help. Tara takes one step forward, and then falls to the ground, clutching her ankle. Shit. Just then, Maddie screams, in pain or in horror. A sick feeling in my stomach. All three of us turn to look, although there's nothing new to be seen. I know from experience that doesn't mean she's in pain. That doesn't mean she isn't in pain. Ah, making a fire to burn Evelyn. Good, good. Abigail is tugging on her arm, but Maddie doesn't react at all. She must be beyond even feeling it. And just behind Evelyn, a familiar-looking ball of sinister light is forming, sparkling in the moonlight. Its tendrils jolt and jag with a familiar hunger. Fuck. Maddie doesn't even know. Evelyn turns back and looks at us, a sadistic grin on her face. The tendrils of magic shift, and a feeling of impending doom fills my lungs. I look back at Tara, who scowls at her foot as she tries to move. There's no way she'll be able to. I don't have long to act. If I run for Evelyn, she might hurt Tara before I get there. If I don't, there's no telling if Maddie will be able to stop her. Of course, it might already be too late to help her anyway. Tara's gritting her teeth through the pain. If I leave her on her own, she'll be helpless. I can't let that happen. I face towards Evelyn again. I have to stop her somehow. That's all that matters, even if I... The realization that it might cost me my life rushes through me. All along, I've been aware of that as a vague possibility. I'd always known it might come to that. The future with Tara I've been pushing at the forefront of my mind, the pain I've been pushing aside to move forward. The memories and emotions of the past overflow and hit me all at once, all the things I thought I could forget. But now, in this moment, faced with that decision, I freeze. My whole body seizes up and I fall to the ground. No. 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 Not here. Not now. I can't afford to be paralyzed like this right now. But the cracks of my psyche freeze over and hold, and the curse within me grips my every muscle. Years. Years of feeling nothing. Weeks of pushing forward and still fear triumphs. Is this really how it will all end? Am I really not strong enough to do anything? Something soft brushes against my arm, and I look over to see Geladora hurrying towards the lake. She turns back towards me, meeting my eyes. Take care of Tara. What do you mean? What? Goodbye, Morgan. And thank you. Geladora, no! With that, she dashes off into the lake, quickly disappearing. I don't even get the chance to yell her name. I'm able to stand, knowing now that whatever happens is out of my hands. If I'm going to die, at least the curse gives me the courtesy of letting me face it on my feet. Just then, Evelyn's ball of magic crackles noisily, and I fling myself in front of Tara, shielding her with my outstretched arms. She cries out in fear, and I brace myself for the end. But it never comes. A warmth spreads throughout the clearing instead. A bright light blinds me, and I hear Evelyn, vocalizing something between a gasp and a snarl. I turn, just in time to see the silhouette of a beautiful woman leap from the lake. It's her. Though I can't see her face, I just know that it's Geladora, the real fairy queen. For a brief moment, she hangs there, suspended and framed by moonlight. Holy shit. She waves her hand in a slow, elegant gesture like a conductor directing an orchestra. Light glitters at her fingertips. Then, she hurls the light towards Evelyn. Two things happen simultaneously. Oh shit! The shards of light shred through Evelyn's form, leaving glistening, luminous trails where they cut her. She remains on the shore, frozen in a position of pain, as her whole body shakes and shudders like a glitched image on a TV screen. Then she starts to melt, starting from her feet and working quickly up her body. She collapses inward on herself, leaving behind nothing but a thick, black goo that stains the sand. Yes! Don't forget to subscribe, bitch! At the same time, Geladora limply crashes back into the water, her life force spent. God damn it. Her fragile form dissipates into starlight that's scattered across the rippling surface. Her brief return as queen already over. Everything is quiet. Is it over? Is she gone? I think so. Melting away into sludge is a fitting and hopefully permanent end. Tara and I separate, and she leans on me for support. And then, we start to hear a buzzing sound. It comes from all around us, spreading through the trees. Fairies burst forth from their hiding spot, swooping over our heads and across the lake. They don't pay attention to Tara and I, nor to Geladora's sacrifice. Instead, they flock straight to Maddie and Abigail, forming a thick cloud over their heads. I'm sorry, Geladora. pushed thoughts about her in the back for now. I helped Tara over to where our friends are, as quickly as we can manage. I don't think Geladora made it. Maddie looks distraught, while Abigail tries in vain to comfort her. As we get closer, I am able to hear just what it is the fairies are saying. Our queen! Our queen! They chant the phrase over and over. I feel nauseous as I realize the consequences of what's happened. Oh shit. Oh shit. With Geladora gone. Without Geladora, there's no fairy queen to take Maddie's place. By her own agreement, she has to stay here. Forever. Oh, God, no. No! Are you kidding? Fuck. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Just Tara and me, without Maddie and Abigail. It's my fault. Something changed about the fairy's magic the instant Geladora and Evelyn died. Maddie and Abigail both faded away from sight. We didn't even get to say goodbye. It's... Fuck. It's not like they're actually dead, you know? So we don't really have to worry about them. Tara's been saying stuff like this since we got on the train. Since before then, in fact. Her wording makes it sound like she's trying to reassure me. But I know it's more for her own sake. Not that I mind. I'm willing to indulge anything that makes it easier for her. That's true. And with Maddie's magic, I'm sure they'll never be bored or lonely. Yeah, for sure. Plus, I'm sure Mads can, tell her all about film theory. Or recite the script to her favorite movies a bazillion times. Stuff like that. That nerd. She's in tears before the sentence ends. And I pull into her tight, guilty hug. The rumbling of the train makes it uncomfortable. Its motion slamming her against my chin repeatedly. But I don't mind. As far as I'm concerned, I exist right now just to make things better for her. As much as I can. No matter how inadequate. We haven't talked about what we'll do when we get back. The prospect of a future together is equal parts bright and ominous. I know we'll get through it, together. But I also know how hard it'll be. Still, we've been through worse. Much worse. Everything I own in here is in this train car. The belongings that I wanted to take with me fit in a suitcase. I didn't say goodbye to anyone. I'm sure the village will be lost for a while without Evelyn, as they recover from her influence. But just like the rest of us, they'll be better off in the long run. We left most of Maddie's things behind, just in case she comes back for them, Tara explained. We also left 2 train tickets on the table in the cabin. Tara had printed 4 before we had even reunited with him, just in case. For so many years, I dreamed of a train ride like this. A one-way trip out of Eysenfield and towards a new life. There are still hours to go before we get to the city, and then hours of waiting for our flight, and then hours to be spent in the sky. I wish I could sleep through them all. Neither Tara nor I got any rest last night. Even though we tried, we just spent the whole time tossing and turning. Max! Fuck. Dude. Geladora sacrificed herself. And now without Geladora, the fairies take Maddie as their queen. And she has to be the queen. And so, Morgan and Tara have to leave without them. And basically they're stuck there forever. In my mind's eye, I kept replaying those final moments, as I hesitated, and as Gelidor sacrificed herself. It was only due to the rippling moonlight that she was able to stop Evelyn. Abby's gone too. To save Tara and I. If I had done something differently, then I'm sure it wouldn't have ended that way. Maddie and Abigail could be here on the train with us. Gelidor back with the fairies. Except this is real life. My choices brought us to this point, and now we have to live with them. All I can do now is make the best of what we have left. Even if it takes years, I know that we can heal. Together. I'm looking forward to that day. I'll become the kind of person that Tara deserves. God damn it. God damn it. Oh no. That was a bad ending. Fuck. What do I do? Do another ending? Okay. I feel so bad. I hate it so much. Choices. God damn it. There's like 4 choices throughout the entire story. I'm so sad. I'm so damn sad. Okay. Next time, next stream, I will do another ending, and then we'll have time to play another game. Probably Mother. Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this. Change it. I don't want to look at it. God damn it. That's terrible. No cryptids were harmed in the making of this game. It takes a week or 2 before Tara is able to go in Maddie's room. She only stays in there for a few minutes before the tears start flowing. Oh god. This is awful. I don't want to read this. After 3 weeks, she calls Maddie's family. I hold her hand while she listens to them sob. They don't speak to her again after that. It takes 2 months for her to be ready to start cleaning out Maddie's room. BT keeps scratching at the door, waiting for Maddie to open it. It takes a long time for her to make her video about what happened. She keeps it vague. She moves on to something new. We get our own place. The old house had too many bad memories. We give our new home a life of its own. We heal, we grow. I wait a long time before I propose. About 5 years after we first met, I get down on one knee and ask her to spend the rest of her life with me. She freezes for a moment. I start to worry. Then the tears start flowing, and she puts on that big, goofy grin. Obviously, I wasn't planning on spending it with anyone else. Her parents are thrilled. To my surprise, they love me. Now I get to call someone Mom without feeling sick to my stomach. Mom helps me pick out the suit. Dad helps me pick out a venue. It all goes smoothly. We get married in the spring. She can't decide if she wants to wear a dress or a suit, and ends up wearing both. God, a suit jacket over a gown. I love it. She writes her own vows, and everybody laughs. In the front row, there are 2 empty seats. It was her idea. You never know. They might still show up. It'd be mad awkward if I didn't have a place for them. They don't show up. But somehow I get the feeling that they know. Wherever they are, I bet they're happy for us. I hope the 2 of them are as happy as Tara and I are. I kiss Tara on the altar. It feels like I'm kissing her for the first time. It's the most wonderful moment of my life. And as I kiss her, I silently thank Maddie and Abigail. Gelidor too. This wouldn't have been possible without them. That night, I carried Tara across the threshold. She wants it to be as cliche as possible. I have to admit, I like it. It's sweet, it's happy, it's healing. And we're complete, and we will be for the rest of our lives. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Abigail. Goodbye. Fuck. We didn't even get the ending song. We have to do this again. Well, at least, like, just skip to the part where we make the choices. God damn it, I'm so sad. But unfortunately, I do have to leave it here. I hated that ending. Yeah, fuck. Still, I thought it was a good game. A good story, and I mean, it was pretty terrific. I just didn't get the ending I wanted, which, I mean, is always unfortunate, but it's a visual novel, and it happens. So, I'll try this again, and I'll let you know what I think. We can still appreciate, I mean, the lovely art and the music. It's just, it's wonderful. I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about it. Yeah. I'm just so sad. Well. Let me go ahead and play you guys off. And, I don't know, I'm thinking my next stream will be Sunday. Same time. If I can, I might do it a little earlier. Just so, we have time to play Mother 3. But yeah, tomorrow I probably won't be available. Hanging out with a friend. And also, D&D. Alright. Do I plan to play Danganronpa? I probably won't. I've played it before, actually. I played the first game. And, I don't know, it just won't be the same with reactions, and it's been covered so many times. I do want to, like, play something fresh, and Danganronpa is a really good game, and I like that suggestion, but it might not be the best for this channel. Thank you, though. I do have a list of games I might be able to play. It just depends. But, yeah, good night, and take care of yourselves. Go to sleep early. Tennis Ace, I still haven't had... I've been playing Out of the Woods this whole time. I'll see if I have the time to... I wanted to see if Devotion would come back on Steam to play that, but it might not, which is pretty sad. Yeah, I'll probably play some more visual novels like Tennis Ace. And... it's early. Excuse me? 1:51? I don't think so, pal. Get some good rest. Yeah, it's like 11 for me right now. So... I am really looking forward to the D&D session tomorrow, so... Who's that? This is so sad. I don't know. I'm gonna have, like, post-game depression. This isn't my first bad ending, so, like, what am I worried about? I've gotten plenty of bad endings. Okay. Good night, guys. I already said it, but remember to take care of yourselves. Thank you for watching. Thanks for joining in. If you're watching on YouTube, I really appreciate you supporting me by watching the video after it's been streamed. So, thank you so much. And, yeah. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.